Hey, good evening, everyone. It's Glenn Kellaway. Just give me a minute to get myself figured out here. That's not going to work. Okay, get out. YouTube. Hope everyone's doing well. Give me a second to get straightened out here till the boys join me. I'll be with you in a second. Oh, man. This is my first time back for a while. Save. Okay, we are good to go. All right. Two people. Cardboard Head Guy. Christopher. Thank you, guys. Waiting for my partners in crime to show up. This is my first live chat for a few weeks because I was away in Florida, and I think I had another engagement before I left. It might be 3 weeks since I've done this. Hi, Barry. How are you? So Rob will be joining us. Sam will be joining us. And we have invited Jason. If you've been watching Rob's great job of filling in as the host. He's had Jason Arsenault on. Jason has a new channel, and he's a great guy. And we've invited him to be the full-time fourth member of our group here. So this is Jason's first night as an actual official member of the show. I saw the album title video. What a great video. Yes, wasn't it a great idea, Cardboard Head? I'm glad I thought of that. I don't know where it came from. I just off the top of my head. Actually, Cardboard Head Guy came up with that on a chat I did with Larry Graves on Sunday. So Larry and I both jumped on it. Hey, Barry. Christopher, I was disappointed you didn't discuss Coda from the Whack-A-Mole earlier. Yeah. What's to discuss? I don't know. That'd make a good video. Albums that just shouldn't exist. I like that. Mine would include all the ABBA albums, though. I don't know where everybody is, so I'm going to put the invite on the screen because these guys always say they never get my these guys say they never get the thing. My good friend Marcia, how are you, Marcia? I hope everything's going well in Florida. Man, I missed going there already. We're just back for a week. So I've been spending a lot of time listening to all the records and cleaning them up. Some of them weren't as clean as I thought they'd be that I bought from the show. There's some that are kind of dirty sounding, but that's up for the boys. Oh, there's Jason. I got him.
Hey,
buddy. Welcome officially, like you haven't been on before. Oh, he's gone. There he's back.
There we go. Okay. Learning the ropes still.
What is your favorite song lyrics? My favorite song lyric is, and it's my favorite song, is Ripple by the Grateful Dead. I think that is just the greatest song ever written. You got a favorite? Do you have a favorite song lyric?
Me or them?
You.
You know what the best lyrics are is Richard Thompson's 1952 Vincent Black Lightning.
Wow, I don't know if I've heard that.
I didn't know anything about it, and I picked up one of those Rolling Stone magazines counting down the best guitarists of all time. Yeah. This guy's name's Richard Thompson.
Yeah, Richard Thompson. I'm more than familiar with. I just don't know about that song.
And yeah, it was on his album from I think the 90s or early 2000s, Rumor and Sigh, I think it's called. And anyway, it's just a wicked ballad of this guy who rides a motorcycle, this outlaw guy who gets shot in a bank robbery, and he has found this new love, and of course that can't happen because he's about to die. Anyway, it's just the most beautiful and visceral story.
Wow.
I found out that song was listed in Time Magazine's top 100 of the 20th century or something like that. It really was impactful. So that's my favorite song lyric.
Very cool. Hey, Joe, Mr. Walsh, Don Felder wants to come on. There he is.
Continue to take the shit from you guys for no reason.
Oh man, I forgot my hat. I was looking for stuff for this stream tonight, doing my homework, and in my bin of all this old stuff, like my ticket stubs from concerts, I have an old Blue Jays hat. And it must have been like from when I was like 9 or 10 years old. It's
Oh,
still
wow.
there. It's crumpled up. Next time I'm going to put it on.
I don't know how anybody can wear a Blue Jay hat right now. Man, are they disappointing me?
Oh man.
Oh.
What happened? What happened? I thought they were supposed to be good, and
They are just the most underperforming team I've ever known in my entire life of watching sports.
The only guys on that team that are any good are the three Cobbs from Buffalo.
Yeah.
Clement,
like Vlad,
Schneider, and what's his name?
I know what happened to Vladdy. As soon as I got a Vladdy sweater for my birthday, that was it. They'll be trading them in next year.
Yep.
Marcia misses me. I miss you too, Marcia. That was we had a lot of fun. What's up, hosers? Hey, John.
Hey, John.
All our Florida people are here. John, I saw your. Did anybody see John's tour of Banana Records in St. Petersburg? You should watch it.
I haven't watched it yet.
Record store. Oh man, I'm dying to go there. This place is cool. It's like a really cool record store. And then in the back, they've got a warehouse just full of like old stereo stuff and little knickknacks and records. And it's a pretty cool place. Oh, Trevor's here watching.
Hey,
Trevor. So tonight we're going to talk about our favorite concert experiences, I guess, our top 5 favorite concerts.
Sam's running late in hair and makeup again, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, if you've ever seen him without his hair and his makeup, it's not a pretty sight.
He looks like you.
Yeah, he looks a lot like me. Yes, when you think about it, you've never seen Sam and I in the same room at the same time.
Well, that's true. Superman and Clark Kent.
Okay, we've got to get all the... Hi, John. I'm pretty sure... Hi, Trevor. I'm pretty sure Trevor's going to say hi, Marcia, and then John's going to say hi. Yeah, here we go. So, Marcia.
Hi, everybody.
Marcia gave you a kick-ass album, is what Marcia did.
She did give me that.
That'll be my first impression of Marcia.
I listened to it a lot.
Yeah.
Bananas has a separate warehouse from the location I filmed. Oh, I don't know. Are you misleading me, John? I don't know what's going on.
Hey, Glenn, are you going to the Mississauga Record Show in 2 weeks?
I don't like that show because it's too big.
I don't know if it's at the same venue they used to hold it at. They
used to be on Dixie Road, right?
Yeah, it's not there anymore.
Oh, really?
It's at Renforth, just south of the 401 by the airport. It's like called Centennial Park, I think.
You guys have to go.
You know what the date is?
Yeah, it's not this Sunday. It's next Sunday. 2 weeks from now.
That's isn't that Thanksgiving weekend or something?
No. It's
so this Sunday is the.
So this Sunday is the 17th. It's the 24th. Hey, John.
The 24th?
Tomorrow's the Guelph Record Show. Or this week is the Guelph Record Show.
Oh, cool. You're going to that, I'm assuming?
I think I'm going to skip it because it always sucks.
Oh.
I'll save my money for the Toronto show.
Hi, Jason. Bob F. Marcia.
I'm going to reach out to Brian at Embryonic Robot, see if he's going to go to the Toronto show.
Maybe that'd be a good time to meet up.
Well, it might be, right? It's only an hour and a half for you.
Yeah, I got to think that. So I was supposed to leave for Prince Edward Island on Saturday.
Well, don't.
What goes on there?
My brother-in-law who lives there, he got sick with vertigo.
Ooh.
But he's got it so bad every time he stands up, he throws up. Like he can't even move.
A buddy of mine had that.
And he went to the hospital today, and they said they just sent him home.
A buddy of mine had that for like 3 months, and it turns out all it was a very severe inner ear infection, and they said it'll clear up eventually.
Yeah, so we canceled because he said all he's going to be doing is laying on he can't get up to even say hello. So
my buddy had to take like a short-term leave off of work because he couldn't stand.
Yeah. So we canceled our trip now. So
well, you should come to the record show.
I think that'd be a good opportunity to meet up.
Yeah, I'll send an email to Brian and see if he's going to it.
Cool.
That'd be a short, probably subway ride or streetcar ride for him.
Well, I'll say hello to Sam when he gets here. I don't want him to feel left out. Yeah. Glenn and Rob must never meet in person. Some things will go horribly wrong.
I don't think so. I think,
worlds are colliding.
I think it'll be like a super collaboration, like Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney.
Yeah, we'll probably
do. What bad could have come out of that, right?
No, I know. We'll probably. Why don't we do a cover of it'll be like we'll do our own version of the Cosmic Torpedoes, and we'll do like Say, a cover of Say.
Sure.
Say. Or what's the other one they did together?
Oh
gosh, about a girl, was it?
Something like that.
Yeah. Or we could do Ebony and Ivory. Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Please, guys, please make a video of this.
Or we'll go out on a limb and do something like It's Raining Men or something.
Bob F. got flu shot, shingles shot, and pneumonia shot, all three the same day, same arm. Felt worse for 4 days. Hey, that's a bit of a. I don't know if that's a good cocktail. Wow. The girl is mine. Thank you.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to talk about concerts tonight, and boy, I had a hard time with this. It's hard to narrow it to 5.
Yeah. I got 6 out here just in case, but I'm sure Sam's going to talk about one of them, so I'll probably skip
down about 10 of them, but I'm still not sure which ones I want to mention. Wow, that's tough. So what else is going on? You guys buying any records or anything? How have you got the Fleetwood Mac? You got the Fleetwood Mac Live. You like it?
How is it?
A couple comments. I'm going to do a review on it. It sounds great. It is not what is advertised. So I just bought it sight unseen because it's Fleetwood Mac. It's on vinyl. It's live. It's an official release. I'm buying it because I love Fleetwood Mac. It's called Rumors Live. So that would make me think that it was all of the songs off of Rumors performed live. That is not what it is. It is their performance from August the 29th, 77 at the Forum in Inglewood, California. So it was the tour that they did for Rumors. So half of the songs are from Rumors and half of them are from the self-titled Fleetwood Mac album.
So it was a Rumors tour. They should have said, they should have just said 77 tour or something.
They should have been a little more specific what it was. That said, it's great. It's fantastic. It's probably the best live Fleetwood Mac recording of that era that I've heard. I mean, they've released other live stuff on like the anniversary edition of Rumors, and so it's not the first time that they put out live stuff, and I think this stuff sounds the best. It's good. If you're a Fleetwood Mac fan, it's worth having. It's just not quite what I'd hoped it would be.
The critical comments I've heard is that it wasn't a great performance from the band. Like anybody who was around at that time and saw them live then said they did some really freaking amazing lively shows, and the record is not that lively a performance. Is that true?
I mean, it's hard to say. I think it's a fine performance, and they do those songs justice, and they sound really good. But having seen Fleetwood Mac live twice myself, yeah, they can absolutely put on a show where you're like, holy crap. It's not a holy crap show, but it's definitely not bad by any means.
Yeah, I want to buy it. I just haven't gotten around.
I don't think it knocks your socks off, but
yeah, I want to get it.
Yeah, I think it's worth getting. I picked it up off Amazon and it arrived unscathed. So
yeah,
yes, I'm glad you had a
good your Amazon cherry there. That's for vinyl.
Yeah, I got one other one that's coming next month, and then we'll decide whether I'm
Amazon. I've never had an issue.
I think I may do it because you know what? You can't beat the pricing on the stuff.
Well, that's the thing is you got to look, and especially for pre-orders. Like sometimes they screw up. You jump on a pre-order, you get that price. Like if something's worth $50 and they got it for 20, jump on it. And they don't charge you until they ship it, so you can pre-order the whole world on Amazon and then see how the price goes.
Yeah,
and you can cancel it before it's released.
I've pre-ordered the Darkness Permission to Land anniversary reissue, and they've got the 10 LP one, which I didn't buy. But I'm just going to sit on. I'll get the standard one, and then if maybe that one goes on sale at some point in time, I may buy it.
I pre-ordered. Well, there's a new Frank Zappa box set coming out for Overnight Sensation. I pre-ordered that. I pre-ordered a thing called. I don't know if you guys ever heard. Jason, you're familiar with a guitarist by the name of Dave Alvin?
No.
He was in a band called the Blasters. Him and his brother, Dave and Phil Alvin.
Where
So
are they
anyway,
at?
a couple of years ago, he did an album. It was a tribute to kind of psychedelic guitar of the 60s. And the album's called The Third Mind. And it's a freaking amazing album.
Cool
You
title.
should check it out. And I just found out the other day that they've gotten back together and they're doing a second Third Mind album. So I got that on pre-order because the first one is just so good. You should check it out.
Hey, Glenn, I'm just sitting here and I just got a text message from my best friend and he sends me, he doesn't say anything. He just sends me a picture. The son of a bitch is 15 rows off first base tonight.
Wow.
Watching the
Yeah,
game.
Texas is winning 4-0 now. I'm turning it off.
I know.
I'm done. I'm done.
Of all the teams that we can't lose to, this is the team we can't lose to.
Yeah, they could have solidified their playoff spot.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
right. Even I
I
know
know.
that.
I'm done with them this year.
This is like watching the guy.
In the playoffs, they're not good enough to win.
No, they're not. They
So,
won't even make it out of the wild card
No.
series.
and nor do they deserve to.
No, they don't. And I think they need to clean house in the
Me too. It's
offseason.
time Ross Atkins goes.
Yep.
And Schneider, I have not been a fan of.
I'm not. You know why? You know what pisses me off about him? He knows nothing about the game, and all he does is manages by analytics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the statistics say
get the
I need to
feeling
put in
they're
a
forced
righty.
to do that. Like that seems to be. That's why they have managers like him. So they
You
can
don't
tell him what
need
to
him
do.
because who's the number 2 in command on that
That's
team?
why Mattingly isn't the
Don
manager. and
Mattingly should
Schneider
be the
is.
damn manager.
Yeah.
Don Mattingly. Man, I'm out of touch. He's part of that organization.
He's our bench
Yeah, they
coach.
brought him in this year as like a bench
He's bench
coach,
coach.
I guess they call him.
Yep.
Whatever. Yeah, I mean he's sitting
Oh,
he's
cool.
sitting there watching all this nonsense. I'm sure
And he thinks it's nonsense. He's careful what he says, but if you listen to him in press conferences, he thinks it's horseshit.
Yeah. Gary says the Blasters, Marie is a must here. It rips. Yeah, it does rip. You'll be proud of me, Rob.
What?
When I was down in Florida, I bought my first Grace Potter and the Nocturnals album.
Which one?
Right on.
Which one?
Oh, you got to hold on. I got to go get it.
You're such an influencer.
Ah, see?
That's awesome.
Never thought I'd be called an influencer in my life, but
Oh, you got me up here.
that's just peer pressure.
Good old fashioned peer pressure, yeah. That's too bad. I thought they were going to do good, but like you guys said, it's kind of tough when you're cheering for a team and like if they even do get it into the playoffs, you acknowledge that they maybe shouldn't be there, or
They should. I mean, on paper they look fantastic, but I think this is what it's like to be a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, which I'm not.
I was going to say, I guess you're not then, eh?
I'm a Habs fan.
Right.
That's even worse right now.
Yeah. Habs have won the cup since 1993, and they're still bragging about it.
At least, that one, I love that one.
It's a pretty good album.
It's fantastic.
There's a couple of ballads on there that I'm not too crazy about.
I love that
the rest
album.
of the album is 9.5 out of 10. Really
so
good.
They did, I think, 4 albums or 5 albums. That's the second last one. They're all fantastic. Her solo albums, I just actually got one in the mail today. But the stuff with the Nocturnals, that band was incredible. I saw them. I've met her.
How did you come across them?
I don't know. I think I remember how I was one of those YouTube rabbit holes, and there was a radio station in Vancouver, and I can't remember what they were called. Shore FM in Vancouver. On their YouTube channel, they used to have musicians come in to the studio to perform, and friends of mine were there and did a performance. Do you know who Barney Bentall is?
Yeah, I told you I peed with Barney Bentall.
So his son is a buddy of mine. So his son's a buddy of mine, and they were at Shore FM and
I have a closer relationship than you do.
There you go.
More intimate.
Shut up and
Very
let me finish.
intimate.
Shut up
We
and
had
let
a
me
sword
finish my
fight.
story. Shut up and let me finish my story. So I was watching this video on Shore FM of Dustin Bentall, and then it was one of those suggested, and it was Grace Potter at Shore FM, and I clicked on it because back in those days she wasn't hard on the eyes. Let's put it that way. And I'm like, well, I'm intrigued. And the performance blew me away. And she did Paris Ooh La La. So then I was like, all right, I got to dig into
That's
this
the
a
opening
little bit further.
track in that album. Yeah.
Yeah. I decided to dig in a little bit more, and I became a huge fan of that band.
Yeah, they're a good band.
They're awesome.
Very kind of rock, soul, R&B, kind of a whole mix. They
Yeah,
got a real pipe,
to me it feels like a 70s kind of blues rock kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
They're really tight, really good
But
band.
they were an example of the sum was greater than the individual parts.
Yeah.
You know, she got a bit of an ego and blew up the band and went on her own, and her solo stuff doesn't hold a candle to what the Nocturnals were.
Well, I found it in a used CD store in Florida for $4.99, and very
Love that record.
to purchase. I'm going to try and find more of their stuff.
Love it.
Rob, do you think Taylor Swift should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when the time she's eligible?
Well, yes.
I'm giving that a 10 out of 10.
It's not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame anymore. Let's be honest. It's the Music Hall of Fame. So genres are irrelevant at this point in time. She's broken conceivably every record there is in terms of
a superstar, and she writes her own song. Like, why wouldn't she be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Who has been more successful than her in the last 30 years?
Nobody. Maybe ever.
Yeah, she will probably continue to break records if there's anything that she hasn't broken. Like,
Yep.
Glenn, you probably saw it. I did not see MC5 live. They actually opened for The Who in Toronto on the Tommy Tour in 1968, I think it was. I'm not a MC5 fan. They're too noisy for me. It was at Bright Light Books, Marcia. And they had one more Grace Potter CD there, but I'm not sure if it's in the alternative rock section of CDs. I'm not sure if it's with the Nocturnals or not. So
Grace just put this out. It's a solo album, just came out last month. It's called Mother Road.
Yeah,
I love that album.
Of her non-nocturnal stuff, this is the only good one.
I met MC5 outside the Marquee Club in London around 1975. They were very hairy and very wild.
I gotta say, hey Roy, Roy's been really good commenting on the few videos I put out, and the stories. Like, I barely know the guy.
Right?
Roy.
This guy could write a book.
Roy should be writing books or doing podcasts or something. Like, it's crazy. I've seen them. He's probably pissed with more people than you have.
I'm B.
He says, I'll be there soon. Yeah. Sam thinks because he's almost got 900 subs now that he can just kind of,
he just pop in whenever he wants. I don't think when he comes up, I'm going to let him in right away.
I think Jason might be his replacement.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Like,
Sam,
we were on time. We don't need this nonsense. Like, show some respect.
Are we Guns N' Roses and he's Axl?
Yeah, that's what it's like.
Show up to the show.
Yeah.
We're
the Three Doors and he's Jim Morrison showing up whenever the hell he wants.
Just wasted.
Our audience is here expecting us to talk about concerts, and
we're trying to run a professional show here.
Eating craft dinner or something.
Paul McCartney and Taylor Swift should get their own wings in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Is
that a pun intended there?
That was Dan's puns. I think Michael Jackson was bigger than Taylor, considering.
Well, I mean, with respect to one album, but if you look at her career, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
I mean, shit. Last night at the VMA, she won
Sam,
9 of.
Take your time. We're having a good time without. Yeah. I subbed Jason. Well, my wife just subbed you.
Ah, beautiful. I can't wait to go back to Toronto. I got to meet up with all you guys.
Met Wayne Kramer, MC5, a couple of times. Really nice guy. Wow, very cool. Sam needs to tune up first.
Yeah, Dan, I was watching him last night too. That's pretty cool. It's awesome. The guy can sing and play, and he just goes out there, puts himself out there, puts on a show, and kills it. It's awesome.
Who's that?
Sam. Last night did a little Sam on the porch.
He does that. He doesn't even have a porch, though. I mean,
yeah, what a liar.
He doesn't even have a
basement. I said, Glenn Keller, I actually have a basement. He's got a freaking apartment, but he doesn't even have a balcony. He couldn't even do Sam on the balcony. He's just
Sam on the couch.
Marcia's saying hi to my wife, Lynn. Now I'm waiting for the hi, Marcia.
I got a question, Glenn. How do you get your wife to watch this? I said to my wife,
She
"You gonna
looks
watch
forward to
tonight?"
it every week. She sits upstairs, watches the whole show.
Oh,
I asked my
gosh.
wife, "You gonna tune in tonight?" And she just looked at me and laughed.
Really? Oh no, Lynn loves it. Yeah, she's a big fan of yours, Rob.
Oh well, that's nice. Thank you, Lynn.
Yeah, she always says nice things about you, and I go, "Ah, you're a poor judge of character, Lynn."
Lynn, I wish your husband liked me, but you know.
Oh god.
Sam is roots personified.
Yeah.
Jason, what's your wife think of your newfound fame now that you're part of this highly viewed live stream?
Oh, I think it's still in the eye rolling phase. I think,
Honey, I need to
yeah.
go play with my friends on the internet.
Yeah, I went and I just made the supper. I was like, so because like my time, it's like 5 to 7 basically. We do this, so it's like
Right.
supper hour. So like to sort of
Oh no, that's right.
get out of the bad books. I made
Oh,
all
you're
the
gonna have to move
supper.
back east.
Supper is good, and yeah.
Oh,
So
here
I'm
we
just sitting
go.
Here.
So Marcia
Yeah.
came over to my daughter's place in Florida, and we had a great night. We had so much fun, and she was kind enough to stop at this store. It's called the Bunt Cake Store or something, and she brought these 3 Bunt cakes, and one was like, I forget, they're all different flavors, and it was one of the best desserts I've ever freaking eaten in my life. So Lynn's saying hi. We all love the Bunt cakes. Andrea's yeah. My daughter loved it so much she sold her husband my son-in-law said, "That's what I want for my birthday. Go get me one of those big giant Bunt cakes."
Well, speaking of cakes, I'm excited because in a little over a month and a half, Mike from MGK Boston's coming back here with his wife, and she's going to make me another one of her famous cheesecakes. She did last time she was up too. So
I really like Mike's
cheesecake.
channel.
Oh
and
my
Mike
god,
there.
that's the best. There's nothing better than cheesecake. What
Is
kind
Mike
is
originally from Canada?
yeah,
Oh, he is. Eh?
Mike's
what kind of
from
cheesecake does she make? Anything like a different kind of flavor or anything?
every kind of flavor. So last time they were up, she just made like a normal cheesecake with a fruit topping on it. It was amazing. But apparently she's doing some kind of chocolate one this time. So
Well, she's coming up right around the right time. Have you ever had pumpkin cheesecake?
I'm not a pumpkin guy. I don't like pumpkin.
Awesome.
Nah. So
Pumpkin
they're coming
spice
up
latte
in,
season.
Lynn is a very
Halloween.
nice lady. I just want you guys to know that, Marcia said. Sorry, guys, I'm traveling to Bali, Indonesia right now. We'll listen later. Wow.
Why?
Holy
I
smoke.
want Roy's life.
What a life this guy's got. Roy, you gotta come on with us one night and just tell stories. Would you be willing to do that? It'd be so cool to hear your stories, man. Speaking of bunts, they don't do that in baseball anymore.
No, they don't, and they need to.
I'm glad you all like the cakes. Love the cakes. Rob, I'm a big fan of yours.
Oh, thank you.
Tastes are the same as mine. Nothing like Glenn's and Sam.
Well, I'm sorry that you have to listen to what you have to listen to at your house.
Favorite song about food? Cheeseburger in Paradise. Jimmy Buffett.
Oh my god!
I don't know.
The Zeppelin song, Hot Dog. I don't
Savoy
know.
truffle.
I don't know. Wild honey pie. I don't know.
Yeah, that works.
Oh, something with honey in it. There's got to be a bunch of honey type.
I want Roy's life too. Yeah, no kidding, eh? Seen every band that ever lived, and now he's on his way to Bali.
Jeez. Oh, Sam's looking for the link there, guys. Is it just scroll up, Sam, if you're watching?
Okay, I'll put the link up again, Sam.
Even though we started a half an hour ago. Sam.
Yeah. Don't worry about us, Sam.
You better have an excuse, like you had a bathroom accident or something.
Yeah, that'd be a good story. That'd make it worth it.
Everybody loves a good poop story.
Okay, it's up there, buddy. Marcia, you are lovely. We will see you next time we are there. Oh my God, this is just a love fest, isn't it? Everybody loves each other. Lynn loves Rob.
American Pie. Good call, John. Oh yeah, of course.
Well, that's a good one. American Pie.
One.
But what's an American pie? You can't eat an American. What's an American pie?
Well, I guess they probably
know,
an apple.
Rock Lobster. Well, it's got food in the title. Looking forward to it, Lynn. Marcia, you come to Toronto. You come stay with us for a couple of days. Yeah. So I still won't see Sam, even though he Okay, getting back on topic here. My favorite concert was the Grateful Dead, Allman Brothers, and Wet Willie. 10th of June, 1973. Wow, that would have been good. I saw the Allman Brothers and Wet Willie right around that time too, Joel, in Buffalo, but the Dead wasn't there. That was right around the Brothers and Sisters album coming out.
I wasn't even born yet.
And Greg Allman was Cher then.
Oh, that era.
That era, yeah. They made an album together. You ever hear that?
Yeah, I'm aware of it, but never listened.
What was Greg thinking? You know,
I can't imagine it's good. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, so do we let Sam in, or we make him suffer? What do you want to do with him?
Up to you. You're the captain of the ship.
Yeah. Well, if we let him in, let's tease him for a while before, you know. But yeah, we can't. Yeah, well, I mean, we can just talk about him when he's not.
He'll
here.
just leave us and just go do his own thing.
Yeah,
and be fine with it.
Oh, I see.
He'll be on the
board with my the albums I listen to the most. You know, like Thanks Tips. That was like 4 months late.
Sam, why do you do this to yourself?
There he is.
Do I talk?
Are you feeling better now, Sam? Or you know?
Did they have a special hour-long Jeopardy tonight or something?
Bathroom problems or what?
Keep them coming. Then I can give an explanation. I am very good. I missed the end of Jeopardy because I fell asleep on my couch.
Oh, that's why you're late.
Oh well, we see how important we are now.
You had to get the sleep out of your eyes.
It was a rough day at work, let me tell you, and I fell asleep. I ate a good meal, and I probably slept for an hour.
Wow. Well,
and
woke up job is not a good thing.
You know, it was 8:20 when I woke up. So.
Wow.
Jason's looking like more of a replacement every minute.
Yeah, that's why y'all asked him to begin with, because you know you need some stability, and I'm not it.
Yeah,
I can change my hair any minute, or you know, just
don't
do
change
something
the hair
to really screw up the whole camaraderie. Here.
You lose the hair, you're done. You might as well just stop the videos.
Well, I do.
Your hair is why
tomorrow,
there's 20 people watching.
Yeah, that's your
Stay tuned, folks. My hair will be shorter tomorrow.
Really, you getting a cut again?
It's been 2 months. Yeah.
I liked it when it was long.
It's been a while. Yeah, it'll be long one day down the line, but
especially it's coming up to winter time. You should let it grow.
No, we'll see. But I'm sure.
I think Sam should get one of these.
No, I did have one of those, not quite that short, but I've had that a few times, and I'm never going to do that again.
Okay, we're going to talk concerts tonight.
Are we?
I'm trying to see where I left off here. So that was Wet Willie. Bob F. Apples, Peaches, Pumpkin Pie, 1967. Jay and the Techniques. That's another food song.
Yeah.
Jesus, Rob, we're going to get technical. I guess I can't use Cherry Pie by Warrant either.
Yeah, you could. That's a
real pie.
Yeah.
Devil's Food, Alice Cooper. The Animals in '83, Original Guys.
Wow.
Martin, that's pretty. So Chaz Chandler and Alan Price were in the band in 1983. That's amazing.
Maybe that was their 20th, I guess, right?
Seeing Britain Cummings and Randy Bachman at the P&E in 1987 was a favorite show. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
My favorite concert was Sam St. John live stream show last night.
Woo! I was there, front row.
Yeah.
I even got a song dedicated to me.
He did.
Hey, Sam, I'm a man of my word.
Rob was one of the people that flashed me, I think, from the front. Yeah.
I was throwing water bottles at you like Justin Timberlake at SARS.
Yeah, I was dodging it. And,
Glenn was throwing you his old stretched and stained boxer shorts.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, like Tom, I thought you were like Tom Jones. I was throwing you my panties.
Right. That's what I want next time that y'all watch me. Yeah.
Sam is like Axl Rose. He goes, yeah, that's
what I said earlier. Absolutely.
He's kind of a mix between Axl Rose and Jim Morrison.
Yeah, two of my favorites.
T.D. Allman Brothers, but saw Greg Allman Band open for. Oh, that would have been good.
Awesome.
Wow.
Best concert value for me was $20 for Stones.
Oh, SARS.
Yeah. I left before the Stones and AC/DC came on.
I was
so uncomfortable. I couldn't stick around.
Speaking of SARS stock, when I was over at Bob Egan's house a few weeks ago, I was downstairs in his studio. he was showing me all the pictures from backstage at Arsenault, him with the Stones and him with AC/DC.
Oh, wow. Very
Yeah.
cool. I don't think Warrant was really thinking about cherry pie.
Nah.
Maybe not.
You're hungry? Okay. We're getting on with the subject here at hand. Jason, since your first official show as an official partner in crime, you get to start.
Okay. All right. So
Your
I don't
fifth
have
best
I don't
month.
have I don't have live albums from the concerts. However, I got albums that are from the artists.
Yeah, I kind of did the
Concerts
same
I've
thing.
got.
I pulled some up as props.
So I got a few. Big caveat here. Like I'll plead guilty, and I need like a handicap for this because I just don't live close enough to major centers. I grew up in Halifax, and Halifax just didn't bring in big concerts, right? But what I did have is I still have a sister and brother-in-law that are living in Toronto, well, Newmarket, but they were closer to Toronto at the time. And when it came time that my favorite band was touring, I finally got to see them. So the first time I saw my favorite band ever was in Toronto and was on October 5th. And I actually found all the stubs here. So what was the Air Canada Center?
Pearl
Oh, yeah.
Jam.
Yeah. So that's Pearl. I have a few Pearl Jam albums. I'm definitely going to be a completist. I'm just kind of taking my time and getting the ones I want. But that concert experience was great. Incidentally, and that was the year, or maybe the year after that band particularly started releasing, in this case, CD bootlegs of all their shows. Right. So you could go and you could buy these little super simple cardboard things, and I should have brought that. I guess it's upstairs. The actual bootleg from the Toronto show.
Oh, that's pretty cool to have.
So having the concert on CD is pretty cool. Incidentally, I've seen them a number of times now, and I've seen them with better seats. I've seen them with better set lists. So it wasn't even like the best Pearl Jam concert I've been to, but it was the first. It wasn't my first concert, but it was my first real big concert of a legit touring band, right? I saw some other one that will come up later, but ultimately that was one of my favorite things. And my sister who lived there made it pretty special for me, right? She, her and her brother-in-law, they got us a limousine to take us from Newmarket all the way to there and drop us off at the concert. And this is 2000, so I'm like 20 years old, and feeling like a total big shot and getting out of the limo and going into the concert, and pretty decent seats, side stage. And you got to see my icons, my favorite band ever. And when I was looking for my concert tickets and my stubs and stuff, I actually found the business card that I saved from the limousine company.
Oh, that's good.
So I don't know if Mario still works in Mississauga, Toronto, Hamilton.
There you go.
I could fax him if I wanted to.
Was there an opening act?
Oh yeah, the opening act was, I think it was it either Super Garage or Super Grass? I don't remember anything about them. I never had heard of them.
I've never heard of a band Super Garage, but I've heard of Supergrass.
Yeah, me too. And for some reason, I thought it was the lesser known of the two, but I could be way off on it. Anyway, at the end of the day, we walked in and they were already starting, and I didn't know anything about them. I was just too jacked on seeing my band, right? So it was a hell of an experience. It will always be in my top 5 because it was the first time I saw them live, right? But
cool.
Not their best performance that I've seen, that's for sure, and not the best seats I've had. But there's number 1.
That's pretty cool. Rob, go ahead.
Okay, are we ranking these in terms of preference?
I'm kind of ranking mine, but
all right. Then I'm going to go with this one. This is an album that Glenn loves, just absolutely one of his favorites.
Mm-hmm.
You had to show that one?
Because this was the tour that I saw them on.
Oh, God. Did they do songs from that album?
They did.
Oh.
They did. So I love the Eagles, and I've loved the Eagles forever. Joe Walsh is my guitar hero. And I've wanted to see them, since they reunited when Hell Freezes over in 97, 8, whenever the hell that was.
That's the one I saw.
But the Eagles are notorious for having exorbitantly expensive tickets. So I could never afford it because, in that tour, I was only when I've been 18 or whatever, I couldn't afford it. And then on the next tour, I couldn't afford it. So when this rolled around, which was 2007, my girlfriend and I, now my wife, we said, you know what? It's still expensive, but hell, we're going. So we went and saw them. At that time, it was Air Canada Centre, now Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. And I loved it. And I'm glad I went because obviously, several years later, Glenn Fry passes away. So it was good to see them with that lineup. Thankfully, they did not do a ton of songs off this album. They did play for 3.5 hours, but I think they only. Oh yeah, it was a long show. They took I think a short break in the middle of like 15, 20 minutes, but it was a long show. But my wife and I
actually played for an hour, but it seemed like 3.5 hours because they played the songs on that album.
Maybe. I like some of the songs in here, but this is a bloated double album. It could have been a single and could have been fine, but it was incredible for me. I'm not a big fan of the song Hotel California. However, to hear Joe Walsh play the solo. What?
Hotel California, it's a classic.
I know, but it's one of those songs that I'm kind of tired of. And
it's overdone.
But to hear Joe Walsh play the solo, I was in awe because the man is my guitar hero. So, number 5, the Eagles.
Very cool.
Yeah. It's always cool to see the hero. I like to see them.
Yeah.
Was that at Budweiser stage?
No, it was Air Canada Centre.
Oh, was it? Sam.
He's asleep again.
Did he fall asleep?
He did. Sam.
Is he frozen?
No, he's sleeping. Look at him.
Sam, come back to us.
Oh, there's nothing like professional entertainment, and this is nothing like professional entertainment. Oh, that's hilarious.
I guess you better go then, Glenn.
Yeah, I guess I'm going now. Well, we'll see if anybody's got any questions here.
He said his computer.
John has a stump us. Oh, it's not really. How many albums did Glenn cross the border with after his Florida visit?
17.
You're probably pretty close. I think it was around.
Oh, wow.
I think it was somewhere around 15. I didn't count, but I came back with about, I'm going to say, a dozen CDs and probably 15 albums.
Nice. Oh, that must have felt good.
Oh, it did. Well, it's great because you go down there. Like I took a whole bunch of used CDs that I didn't want and put them in a box. And I had a bunch of books that I've read that I don't want. And I picked about a dozen albums out of my collection that I didn't want anymore. I took them down there. The first store I went to, they gave me $150 US cash. And the second store I went to gave me $100 credit. So, I mean, I was just having time of my life.
Beautiful.
It didn't really cost me anything. Saw PJ at, who's PJ? Oh, that's
Pearl Jam.
Sorry. 92. My computer rebooted. That must hurt. That's awesome. This day goes from bad to worse. Hello, Jack.
Oh, here goes all the hellos again. Jeez.
Hello. Everybody's got to say hello to Jack.
You should just go, Glenn, or we're not going to get through.
Go. Oh, no, I'm not waiting for Sam.
All right.
Okay. My number 5.
Frank Zappa.
No.
Grateful Dead.
List. I got so many. So I've seen so many bands, and I left some of them off. I mean, I'm leaving Jimi Hendrix off. I'm leaving Led Zeppelin off. I'm leaving.
You said Jimi Hendrix?
I'm leaving a million people off that I've seen, and the band, and Joplin, and everybody. And I just I'm going with the 5 that are most memorable to me.
The only band Glenn has never seen is the Beatles. Other than that, he's seen everybody.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think there'd be a massive value to seeing like a conversation, a podcast, or a live stream with Glenn and Mazzy. Like the amount of knowledge that they could share, it'd be just astronomical. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm going with Cream at Massey Hall, 1968.
Oh,
yeah.
Christ.
I was sitting I'm going to say 9 rows on the right side of the stage.
9 rows from the stage?
from the stage.
Holy
yeah.
shit.
Yeah,
Oh my
$3.50. I still remember the price of the ticket, and they were amazing. Like I still remember my favorite watching Ginger Baker play the drums was just something. I have an image in my head of that I will never ever forget. And that's one thing I always think about when I talk about my memorable concerts. There's always something that you can close your eyes and still see it. They're the ones to me are the ones that I'm picking.
Yep.
So, I mean, to watch those guys play, they were also incredible, and there were a lot of jamming and extended, crossroads and all that stuff. It was just a phenomenal show. So that's my number 5.
Unbelievable.
What do you got
Sam,
for us?
you're number 5. You're going next. You're
Oh,
last.
hey guys. Hey, sorry.
It was funny when you froze up. Your head was down.
It looked like you were sleeping.
I saw it because I immediately pulled it up on my phone, which was working. But my computer, I think when I was up, because I was using this at work, and my computer died. Well, it needed to be rebooted, and I think it just decided, oh, it's timed out. You got to reboot now. So that's what it did. And I could go into a whole list of all the things that have happened today, and it does not surprise me that this has been the way it's been. But anyway, I'm kind of with Glenn. I kind of went with albums that I can still really picture well. They weren't necessarily the best performance by these people, kind of like what Jason was talking about with Pearl Jam. For me, for my number 5, I have to go with the first time that I saw Bob Dylan.
Way to go.
Which would have been 2014 or 15. I think it's 2015. It was spring of 2015, my junior year of college. And I saw him in Richmond, Virginia with my dad. And he was touring this first album, the first of his standards albums, This Is Shadows in the Night, where he covered a bunch of, Sinatra tunes and that sort of thing. And I was so excited to go see him. I couldn't believe I was seeing Bob Dylan. I never thought I'd see Bob Dylan. I've seen him 3 times since then. But at that time, I was like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I've got to go see him. And he was, Richmond was about an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes from my college. So I drove home to mom and dad's and then drove in with dad. And then he dropped me back off at school the following day. We stayed the night somewhere after the show. But what I remember specifically about this show, we were in the balcony, and I remember he started playing the song She Belongs to Me.
Oh,
and
beautiful.
If anybody knows Dylan from like the last 15 years or so, he doesn't play guitar hardly ever live. He's either behind the keyboards or he's up front behind the mic with a harmonica. And She Belongs to Me was the second song of the night after things have changed. And he's pulled up the harmonica and started playing. And I remember specifically one of the stage lights hit the harmonica and it just reflected off of the harmonica and hit up to where me and my dad were sitting, getting like the bright light from the harmonica up in our eyes. And I was just like, man, that is Bob Dylan playing harmonica, 100 feet in front of me. And I'm like, right now, my life can't get better than this. And the third time that I saw him was probably the best that I've seen him. But that's the show. The first show is the one that I'll never forget because it was me and my dad. I remember there was a girl that sat next to us with her boyfriend who was talking oh, I wonder if he'll do this, and this. Like, I'm like breaking down like what it was probably going to be like to them, and like being like, I was much younger than most people in the crowd, and I just remember him singing the songs. I think he did Stay With Me off of this and Autumn Leaves, I believe, and then a bunch of his stuff, and it was just, I just couldn't believe it. Like I said, it was.
What year was that?
2015.
Okay, I saw him in 2017. He pretty much did the same set list. I think he was still doing pretty much that same show.
Yeah, and I think I saw him again in 17, 19, and 21. No, I saw him last year. I saw him last April, 22. So I'm always on the hunt to see him again. I know he's releasing a lot of new dates now. None of them are too close to me, but I will see him again if he comes within 2 hours of me for sure. But yeah, that first Bob Dylan show, I'll never forget it.
Very cool. We're back to Jason, number 4. Well, let's see. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let's see what people are saying. I love Mazzy's story of why he didn't see the Beatles. Yeah, didn't he have to do? His mom made him practice or do something. I can't remember. Yeah,
Something like that.
Story he couldn't go. I saw James Brown at the Apollo. Now that is something to say. That's cool. Can you imagine? I wish I would have saw James Brown. Man, I saw Dylan in '89. He was awful. Rushed through the circles. I saw him at that point too, and I wasn't a big fan of the show. I couldn't even tell. I couldn't recognize the songs as big as a Dylan fan I was. I had to listen so closely, and it was a pretty small venue, and it would take me like 45 seconds into a song to even know what song it was. Like it was not a good time for me as a Dylan fan. Hey Scott. Hey John. I saw Pearl Jam once, loud and distorted, very disappointed.
It's kind of like my channel, John.
Okay, Jason, number 4.
Okay, I was going to go a different direction, but since we're on the Dylan topic, I did see Dylan. And so obviously I did not see him on this tour, but this is the first album I saw that I grabbed. Dylan is super important to me in this house anyway. I named my son Dylan, and there's obviously a connection.
Oh,
there.
wow.
Oh, cool.
So I'm a big fan. That being said, I don't know his whole catalog, but like the first, couple decades I'm pretty familiar with. And I only saw him, I would say, and I couldn't find the stub for it. I was a little inebriated at that particular concert, which I typically don't do. Like if I go to a concert, I do what I can to not have to use the bathroom. I don't want to miss a thing, right? I'm like, I will not drink water for like 3 hours before, and I'm like,
I have one word for you: pens.
Yeah, it's coming next concert. So anyway, I went to so I live up in northern BC, and I had to drive to the closest place. I couldn't believe he played here. It's this city called Prince George, which is like 6 hours from me. So he played Prince George.
Prince George? Are you serious?
I know. And that kind of back to whoever's comment that was, Gary's, like, it was terrible. And I was like, when you want to see your hero and you're always worried that you might regret it. I don't regret seeing him at all.
What year was that?
Within the last, I would say 5 years ago. I'm sure if I Googled Prince George.
The last few years, the shows have been great.
I think so too.
I told, I was pretty defensive over the 2 guys I went with from work. We were there for a work-related trip, and I was like, oh my God, we have to go. Like, how could we not go to this? It's like my guy, right? And so it wasn't a Bob Dylan concert. I'd called it more of an evening with Bob Dylan, because it was very much kind of like, Sam said, there was no guitar. He was just kind of standing at the microphone and swaying back and forth, and he went to the piano for a bit. And just like you said, Glenn, like I didn't understand a lot of the songs he was singing. And I've known that about Dylan since I got into him, is that whenever he performs a song, it's never like the album version, right?
Yep.
He mixes it up every time. It could be drastically different. So I hardly knew a lot of the songs he played, although I'm sure I kind of knew them, right? I think he did do Desolation Row, which is kind of cool. But anyway,
he was doing that.
I digress. It was still cool to see him. I still remember the concert fondly, like from what I remember of it. It was just a little underwhelming, because it was just, this frail man of what he, an image of what he used to be. It was a stretch to look at him in that same light. Nonetheless, I saw him, and he was the shit. He'll always be the shit, right? He is one of the top dogs. And I got to see him. So I don't regret going, don't regret the cost of the ticket, the trip, or anything like that. But it was a little underwhelming. But because he was, one of my favorites, I'm still ranking it top 5 favorite concerts I've seen.
Wow.
Very cool. Yeah, I like the way he's reinvented himself. Like, I really love it, actually. And the band is fantastic. It's very...
Yeah. I will say that, like, the backing band was incredible in the sense that it was... I don't know, everything with Dylan, like especially like every like Modern Times, the whole way through his latest releases, it's so polished, and I don't mean that in a way that he's trying to hide defects or anything like that, but like you said, he's reinvented himself, and everything is just so well done and so tight and so full, right? Anyway, Dylan, number 2.
Very cool. Rob, number 4.
Number 4. I'd rank this higher. Well, I don't know. I'm just ranking it where I'm ranking it. Fleetwood Mac. I've seen Fleetwood Mac twice. I saw them first on this tour, Say You Will, which was 2003. This is a 2-part story. So Fleetwood Mac was my dad's favorite band My dad was my best friend in the world, taken from us far too early. He was a music guy, and he's the reason that I'm a music guy, and he's the reason I have records. And I'm actually doing a video about that this week because it's the anniversary of his passing this week.
Oh, wow.
But I'm going to get through this without being emotional because it fucked me up. But he always wanted to see Fleetwood Mac, and he never got to. So when they were touring in 2003 in support of this, which was the last Fleetwood Mac album, now it was the Rumors lineup minus Christine, so it was just Lindsay, Stevie, John, and Mick. I bought tickets to go see them at Air Canada Centre in Toronto, and didn't tell my dad. I wanted to surprise him, and he and I were driving in the car somewhere a month before the show. And there was the single from this was Peacekeeper, which I think is a great song. Came on the radio. Dad's like, I'd really like to go see them. And I said, Dad, I got tickets. We're going. And he was just thrilled. And I get to fulfill that sort of bucket list thing for my dad. And sadly, that was the only concert that my dad and I ever got to go to together because he passed away a few years later. When Christine rejoined the band in 2012 or whatever it was, and they did the On With the Show tour, so it was the full Rumors lineup, my wife and I went again because she's a big Fleetwood Mac fan. And I sort of felt like he was kind of there in spirit because Christine was his favorite and he didn't get to see her. But seeing that with my wife not too long after my dad had passed was a pretty poignant thing. There was a few tears shed, I will admit, but incredible experience that I got to do that for my dad with my dad. It was wonderful and probably my most cherished concert memory ever.
Very cool story. Well, it's touching.
Great job, Rob. Oh my God, I can't wait for this video you're putting together.
Yeah, that's going to be a good video.
It's hard for me to make because he died quite unexpectedly and quite horrifically, and it's still 14 years later. I'm still not okay with it. So
you'll never will be.
No.
Don't expect to be.
No,
just got to live with it.
I'm going to do a video. I have some records that were his, so I'm going to talk about those records and
what was his take on the concert after, like as soon as the lights go up?
Loved it. He was a true Fleetwood Mac fan. He loved Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac, and he loved the Rumors Fleetwood Mac, and he loved, the later version of. He just loved everything that they put out. Christine was his favorite, and it was a shame that she wasn't in the band at the time. But it was the best we could do, and we got to see it. And he was just the look of awe or wonder or excitement in his eye was, I'll never forget, because there were many times throughout the concert. The stage was over here, and so I was closer to the stage. We were on the side, and he was beside me. For many times at the concert, I'd look over at him, and he was having the time of his life.
Right.
My dad was not the happiest guy in the world. He wasn't Mr. Sunny Disposition. My best friend and I jokingly used to call him Mr. Chuckles because he was the opposite of that. But I never saw the man so happy, and it was just wonderful that I could do that.
Hey, you'll always have that.
I will.
Yeah, you can't take that away.
Wicked show.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, good, great story. That is touching.
Thanks.
Number 4. How do I follow that?
Take your shirt off.
Let's talk about your cream show again.
Yeah. I'm going with the guy I think was the greatest live performer ever, and that's Bruce Springsteen. And I saw Bruce Springsteen the first time on the River Tour, but that's not my favorite Springsteen show. They got back when they reunited, when he split up the E Street Band, went on his own, did his own thing for a while, and then he reunited the band in 1999 for the tour, and that's the show that I freaking loved. I went to both shows in Toronto, and they were just so energetic and so pumped to be back together. The shows were just so freaking good. They were just unbelievable. If you've ever seen the Live in New York video or something, that came from that tour. So it gives you some idea of the high energy they had. But man, just the set list and you talk about moments in concerts that you never forget. Anytime Clarence Clements stood up in the spotlight and played the sax solo from Jungle Land, just the hairs stand up on my arms, just still thinking about it like 25 years later. Like, just unbelievable. But that's my number.
I enjoyed reading his book when he talked about Clarence.
Yeah.
It was quite nice.
Yeah. Sam, you're at number 4.
Another band that I've seen, I think 4 times, same as Dylan. I'm going to go with the first time that I saw them. Again, not necessarily because it was the best time, but it was the time where I realized, wow, this is a band that you have to see live, and it's a band that I talk about all the time. And it wasn't for this album, but this is the only album of theirs I had on vinyl, and I'm showing all vinyl tonight. The Wood Brothers. Saw them the first time probably 2018-ish at a little venue called The Harvester. I just did a concert review about Brent Cobb, who was at The Harvester. And it's a little venue that holds about 400 people. And I bought tickets. I was about 5 rows from the front. And it's just 3 guys. It's a trio: bass, lead vocals, and guitar, and then drums. But the drummer he sings harmony, he plays drums, and plays keys at the same time. So you're getting 4 instruments from 3 guys at one time. Sometimes harmonica to make it a 5th instrument. But I remember seeing them and just how rambunctious they were live, like some of the funky elements that they had brought in, because they're kind of like, they're Americana, but they have elements of folk. Chris Wood, the bassist, is part of Medeski, Martin and Wood, the jazz trio. So there's a lot of jazz, but there's a lot of, again, folk. There's blues. They find a lot of inspiration from the Delta. They're from Georgia, so they have like that root element to it. And they closed the show with they opened the show with "Stop This Train," the Bob Marley song. And it was just, they probably did like a 1.5-minute version of it before they went into the first song. And then they closed the show with "Ophelia" by the band. And I got to I've seen the Wood Brothers twice this year. And the second time I saw them, they did "Ophelia." And I hadn't seen it since that first show. So that was really cool to see that again. Because they do it so well. And they also, they're big up at Levon Helm's barn up in New York. They do a lot of the Midnight Rambles. They're friends with Amy Helm. They play with her a lot. They've toured with, I think Zach Brown, the country singer. He produced one of their records, or 2 of their records. They were on his label for a while, and they opened for the Zach Brown band a couple of times, even though they're not a country group. But it was just a fantastic show. Again, 3-part harmonies. Chris Wood on the bass. He'll jump from stand-up bass to like the Hofner violin. He's dancing all over the stage. Oliver, the guitarist and singer, is playing. He plays a killer bottleneck guitar. He has a Nashville Skyline guitar that he plays a lot. He's great with a slide. Fantastic vocals. They're strong. And every time that I see them, I walk away thinking like that was the best show I've ever seen. Just because they can put on that kind of show. And I remember the last time I saw them was back in May in Charlottesville. There was a guy sitting next to me, older guy. He'd never really heard of him until like the week of. And so he was local. He's like, I wanted to come out and hear good music. And he came out and he absolutely loved it. He didn't know who they were, but he had a great time. And he was by himself. I was by myself. And if you can see the Wood Brothers, they're usually fairly cheap. You can probably find the rear seats for $30-$35. Go see them. They're just absolutely fantastic. And they're made to be listened to live. They tour like animals. But the Wood Brothers, especially that first time, like I said, about 2018, just fantastic. Just so good.
Very cool. I'd love to see those guys.
They're so good.
I don't think they ever come to Canada.
No, they do festivals, but other than that, I'm not sure.
Sam, have you ever listened to or heard about the Dead South?
I've heard of the Dead South, but I see their name pop up all the time, but I've never given them a try.
Here, the Kansas City Orchestra is doing Led Zeppelin songs on the 22nd, but tickets are sold out.
Oh, wow. Cool.
That'd be interesting. I saw McCartney recently in Winston-Salem. Hopefully he comes back for 2024. Yeah, Sam saw him last year on that new tour too. He's doing Australia. I don't think he's announced any North American dates, but it'd be nice to see him come back. Saw Dylan at the Beacon in the 80s, was dragged to the show by a coworker, was amazed at how great he was. Wasn't a fan at that time. Oh, that's awesome. The Beacon. I would love to go to the Beacon and see a show. It's just so many legendary shows there. The Allman Brothers and Dylan.
Yeah, I think I was on mute, but yeah, Cardboard Head Guy. I was at that Winston-Salem show. So
I saw Don Henley on his own too at the Budweiser stage, and he was pretty good.
is that when he put out that country album?
No, he was touring. He was doing all his own solo stuff, not the country stuff, but it's kind of his more popular album. What was the one when he did the song with Bruce Hornsby and
The one that has Dirty Laundry on it?
no, the one after that, the big hit.
Yeah.
End of the Innocence?
Oh,
Is it End of the Innocence?
End of the Innocence.
End of the Innocence,
That tour.
I don't know why I know that, but I do.
Adele in 2009 at a club in Seattle. Wow, that's interesting. Dylan and Prince George, good for them. Nice. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
I was hoping he was going to do that this time, do a lot of smaller Canadian shows, but he didn't.
Yeah.
I can't believe you played Prince George. That's
I know. I forget how many people sit in that arena. It's got, like 5,000 to 8,000 maybe, but
I saw him in Oshawa.
Was that Jason? Was that when he was touring with Mavis Staples? Was that when she was opening for him?
oh, I don't think so. I'll Google it here and try to
Because
figure.
normally he
narrow it
doesn't have an
down,
opener, but him and Mavis toured a few years back, not too long ago, and he was playing bigger venues like that. Like I think he even played like a huge venue in New York. Like he was playing like basketball stadiums.
McCartney's another one I left off my list. Seen him a couple times, and man, he could have made my top 5. My top shows: Kinks in '83, McCartney '93, Yes in 2002, Genesis 2000, Beach Boys reunion in 2012. Wow,
I
that's
would
some
have loved
nice
to see that
shows.
Beach Boys show.
I saw the Kinks in
Me too.
'87 at Massey Hall. One of my favorite concerts with the Eurythmics. I bet you they probably put on a pretty good show.
I saw Dave Stewart is doing like a Eurythmics tribute show because Annie Lennox is retired.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she had such a great voice.
I'm not sure what her health is.
I agree, Jason. He was the best Dylan was. I was glad I got to see him. Plus, Roger McGuinn joined him for Maggie's Farm at the end.
Oh,
So how
cool.
could that not be bad?
Wow.
Yeah. Wow, what a list.
Yeah. So the Dylan concert I saw was July 22nd, 2017 in Prince George.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think I saw him in 2017 as well.
Doesn't say if it's open, but
Saw Fleetwood Mac Rumors concert in 77. A week later was the Eagles Hotel. Wow.
wow.
That's pretty cool. Prince 99 tour, most fun. Did you hear about the new Mickey Dolenz REM thing? Yeah, is he doing covers of REM songs or something?
It's an EP, kind of like he did Dolan Sings Nesmith. He's doing
Is
4
it
REM songs.
bingo now? He can't make a full album?
But he put out Shiny Happy People today. And Michael Stipe gave it rave reviews. He said he's knocked off, like it's knocked him out of his seat that a monkey is doing one of his songs.
Awesome.
wow, really?
He said I'd never thought that I would say that I enjoyed Shiny Happy People, but Mickey Dolenz made it happen.
Yeah, Rob, we already talked about that a little earlier, Dan. Rob gave it a thumbs up. It's on my bucket list to get one of these days. There's so much stuff out there right now. My number 4 will be opening night of the Kiss reunion tour in 1996 at Tiger Stadium, Detroit. Wow.
My uncle was a police officer during that tour, and he got to meet the 4 guys. He said after the show, they all got out of makeup. He was at the venue, and they were sure to shake hands with the ushers and the police officers and thank them
That's
for.
cool.
So he got to shake all their hands.
Best band to see live was the 13th Floor Elevators. Wow, you're going back. Just listen to their live album. You'd swear it's Carnegie Hall and Liberace just playing on the showstopper. That's going back a long time. Rob talked about it at the beginning of the show. Oh, yes, he did. Hey, Richard, how are you doing, buddy? Richard, I'm not mentioning Frank Zappa as one of my favorite shows. I love Richard's channel. If any of you guys are not subscribed to Calvin Wazoo, please do so. Chris Christopherson, Small Club. That would be great. Who else mentioned this?
Wow.
You saw Chris Christopherson, didn't
Sam,
you?
didn't you?
I saw Chris Christopherson.
Yeah.
Oh, you did.
I saw him, yeah. Believe it or not, I saw him at the Molson Amphitheater. He opened for Blue Rodeo.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God! Did he play a song with them?
He did.
Oh, sweet.
A couple.
Wow.
That's an artist that I need to know more about. He's just an interesting dude. He's got like
Oh,
this
yeah,
kind
great
of quasi
songwriter.
acting career thing, and
If if memory serves me correct, this was going back. Like I've seen Blue Radio 47 times, so they all start to blur together. I think at the end of the show he came out, and I think altogether they did Me and Bobby McGee. I think, and then they finished with Lost Together. I'll find out though. I'll ask Bob because he was in Blue Radio at the time.
Oh, nice.
He'll remember.
wow.
I'm so jealous of all these guys.
I am.
Springsteen, Led Zeppelin, Little Feat, the Beach Boys, Van Morrison, Almonds, all seen in the 70s. Yeah, that's great.
That's incredible. That is so incredible.
I saw Springsteen, Zeppelin, Van Morrison, the Almonds out of all those. Never saw Little Feat or the Beach Boys.
God.
Well, McCartney doing shows in Mexico and Brazil. He's announced shows in Mexico and Brazil? Or Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Ticket prices were affordable. We camped out for the prime. Yeah, you camped out for tickets, man. Beverly Brothers, O'Keefe Center. That would have been cool.
Wow.
Well, my top 5: Stevie Ray Vaughan in Santa Fe, Stones in Tucson, Clapton. Clapton just played here on Sunday night.
He did two band
My
songs.
brother-in-law was there.
Yeah, my brother-in-law went too.
He did Shape I'm In and It Makes No Difference.
Yeah, he's doing a tribute to Robbie Robertson in the show. They said they were great. They did a really good job on the shows.
Yeah, the clips were really good at that.
Yeah, I saw Springsteen River. I thought it was 1980, but I could be wrong. My loudest concert was My Life with Thrill Kill Cult. I don't know. It sounds like a death metal band or something. I've seen a lot of concerts, especially mid-70s, early 80s, but the performance I enjoyed the most are in clubs with bands that never really reached that level. I agree.
I agree.
I could have mentioned a ton of intimate shows that were just
Same
fantastic.
here.
Yeah.
Watching Larry Grace play the accordion live would be must-see. Yeah, it would be, especially because Larry can't play the accordion. I saw Elvis live a few times. Wait, does that...
John.
My first concert was Loverboy and Prism. Now, there's a Canadian boy.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 3 for me. Everybody's mentioning Dylan, so I got to jump on board here. The
I
legendary
won't mention Dylan, I promise.
Rolling Thunder Review.
Oh, wow.
December 1st and 2nd at Maple Leaf Gardens. I went to both shows. The second night I had 4th row in front of the stage. Man, Roger McGuinn, Mick Ronson, oh man, Ramblin' Jack Elliott, Dylan, Joan Baez. I mean, just it's such a legendary concert tour, and I was so happy I got to see it. Dylan was just in prime form, and they were doing all the songs for Desire, which was just the newest album coming out. And
how did that tour play out?
Not on the tracks, period. And
did each artist have like a certain segment, or was it more of a jam?
Yeah, they were all on stage all the time. Like the only time
okay.
that they weren't is when I think they had a bit of an intermission, and Dylan and Joan Baez came out and sang a couple of songs together, and then the band came out again. But most of the time, the whole band was on, backing each other up and stuff like that. It was great. Roger McGuinn did 8 Miles High and Chestnut Mare, and Gordon Lightfoot came out that night. Joni Mitchell came out. It was unbelievable. So they were that's one of the definitely concert highlights of my life was that.
Unbelievable.
Did I go out of turn, Sam, or did you just go?
Yeah, it's Jason's turn. We're at number 3.
All right.
Wow.
I had a senior's moment.
Okay, so here, look at this, Sam. Look at this. I went to the States for a show. In university, and I think probably every generation in university, there's probably that cliched band that everyone kind of gets into, and people like learn guitar and play all their songs. And for me, that band was the Dave Matthews Band. And so I was I was fan club, the whole thing. And I've, since I kind of, when I left the Maritimes and I came out here, I kind of, that band got a bit of distance from me. But so I'm not familiar at all with them for the last 10 years. But for the first little while, I was hardcore into that band. And I don't have any albums from them except for this, which, Sam, do you know that?
I know of it. I'm not a big
Yeah.
Dave Matthews fan, but he's from Charlottesville, Virginia, and so they're
That's
huge.
right. Yeah.
They're huge
Yeah.
here.
That
A great live
incidentally-
band, Dave Matthews Band.
Incidentally, that album, I have it on CD, and getting that through on vinyl was a huge grail for me. But the CD of that is hands down the most
I
played
used to have
CD
it. I
I've
don't have
ever
it
had. Like,
Yeah.
it's scratched to hell. The little jewel case barely closes anymore, and I still have it. I'll never throw it away. But anyway, so I didn't see that tour, although I would have dropped big coin to see those two play. But so I've seen Dave, the whole band, for I think I've seen maybe 4 or 5 different shows, but the one that
Did you
comes
see
to
them
mind.
when Buford was still alive?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of fell off the map with them before he had passed, so I didn't know much about the passing and all that stuff. But so buddies and I, all university buddies, we were all hardcore into them. We all played 2-step on the guitar and everything else, and then we decided to do a road trip. And like every band's got like a venue that they're known to attend, right? Like a lot of them, Red Rocks, this and whatever else that. But one of the Dave Matthews Band, I guess.
Don't tell me you went to the Gorge. I'm gonna go nuts.
No, I wanted to go to the Gorge, but living on the East Coast, it wasn't really feasible. But the more of the East Coast setting that they play a lot was Saratoga Springs. So we took a road trip from Halifax, borrowed my mother's little Honda Civic, and we all piled in. And this reminds me of something I have to ask Glenn after. But anyway, so we drove. I think there was 4 of us, and another car came later. And we all drove to Saratoga Springs, a full day. You can imagine, early 20s guys, how great that must have been, right? But yeah, so we bought the tickets. There was two shows, so we saw them on 2 nights, a Friday and a Saturday night. All the fans, like, through websites, and this is like, what year is this? I didn't even look at the date on the ticket, but this is pre, this is 2005, right? So July 2nd, 2005. That's right. Yeah, it was like, pretty much almost July long weekend for both US and Canada. Yeah, July 1st, Friday night, and July 2nd. So it was an amazing time. We went to like the campground where all the fans went. So every freaking site had all these tents and dirty ass, young adults, and just playing guitars and campfires and everything else. And it was that aspect of the concert alone was totally worth it. And then seeing them at the venue in Saratoga Springs was pretty sweet. And then 2 nights of it, right? I've never done that before, where I've got to see a show and see multiple nights of the same act.
Different set list?
Yeah, pretty much different set list. There was, of course, some crossover, but
they always kind of have the certain songs they have to have at certain points to keep the show going.
But for me, and I've seen them a number of times, and but this experience as a whole was just next level. And still got the tickets, still have those friends, and I'll never.
That is awesome. Yeah.
And so on the way there, and this is going to be a segue to a story that I'm waiting Glenn to tell about state troopers. Don't you have some kind of state trooper thing you're supposed to tell us?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're driving on one of the freeways or whatever, the interstates, and like, this little Honda Civic weighted right down, just full of dudes in the car, and the state trooper just followed us for, it must have been like, I don't know, it felt like forever. I'm sure it was only like 5 minutes, and he's just like, 2 lanes over, and he's like, he gives us one of these, and he's just watching us, and like, I'm like driving, like, I'm not gonna get pulled over here. I don't know what's going on. I'm in the States. What's gonna happen to me? And anyway, whatever. What's your story, Glenn? You teased us on that other video of yours.
Well, I mean, we drove 2,600 miles in 2 weeks, going back and forth from Florida. We're coming back now, and we're within a half a mile of the Canadian border. I've been on the road now for 12, 13 hours. The speed limit's 65, and it drops down to 40 because we're coming up to the toll bridge just before you go to cross the border. I slow down to 40. I'm doing 40 speed limit. I look in my back rear view mirror, and there's a U.S. State Patrol officer with the lights going. I'm saying to Lynn, why are they stopping us? So I pull the car over. She gets out of the car, and I said, why do you stop me? I said, I was doing 40. She goes, well, you weren't doing 40 back there. And I go, well, when I saw the 40 sign, I slowed down to 40. And she goes, well, you missed the first 40 sign. I go, but I'm doing, like, I clearly demonstrated that I'm not trying to speed. I didn't slow down when I saw you. Like, I'm doing the speed limit. And she goes, well, too bad. Like, and she gave me a fucking ticket.
Wow.
How much?
Well, she knocked it down from 65 and a 40 to 55 and a 40. So I wanted to go and fight it, but it's like a 3-hour drive. So I just didn't know. Like, but it was such an uncalled for ticket. Like, it's not like she caught, like, I don't even know where they came from. Like, I don't even know where she was. I was just so pissed. What a way to end a trip.
And you're exhausted too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was mad. And Lynn's going, keep calm. I was trying so hard to show her my dissatisfaction without being disrespectful, so she dragged me out of the car. But she clearly knew I wasn't happy. But what a way to end the trip. So
yeah, the back to real quick about Dave Matthews, a cool Dave Matthews story. So I went to a little college in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia called Bridgewater. And I mean, it has, just under 1,800 students. And back in the 90s, in their small little auditorium, which probably holds, I don't know, maybe 300 people, Dave Matthews Band played there. And as far as I know, and according to the historical records, it is the first filmed account of Dave Matthews playing. There were audio recordings, and if you can find it online, it's black and white. It's very grainy, but to show how new they were, they opened with Ants Marching.
Oh wow!
Oh my God! Yeah.
So I thought that was the first song that they played, and because I remember I was at school and we got a notification that said 20 years ago, it would have been like 1992. Dave Matthews Band plays Bridgewater College, and shows that it's their first filmed concert, and they sent the clip, which, like I said, is on YouTube. You can look up Dave Matthews Band, Bridgewater College. Terrible quality, but they come out there and they open with Ants Marching, and it's just like Dave Matthews Band played my little college. That's pretty cool.
That's very cool. I saw them once at Scotiabank Arena, and Bela Fleck and the Flecktones opened.
I saw that, Glenn. I was there for that show.
Yeah, that was a great show. Because Bale is like one of my musical heroes, right?
I know he is. And when I found out that about you, I was like, oh my God, I have a reference to that. I actually saw that group and that bass player there, Future Man, whatever his name. Oh my Monster. God, unreal.
Yeah, that was a great show. That's the only time I ever saw them. Okay, let's get caught up here. What's what were your guys' first concert? Mine was Sha Na Na. Mine was the Monkees, 1967.
Gordon Lightfoot.
Don McLean.
Clearance Clearwater Revisited.
Oh,
that doesn't even count.
Revival. I was going to jump through the screen.
That doesn't count.
I know. I have stuff right there. I was going to mention it as one of my 5. I might just buy. But it was my first legit kind of concert, right? I think the Cars guitarist was filling in and was part of that tour or something.
That so doesn't count. You should revoke your membership in the DC.
Picking, Classic Albums Live concerts as your favorite concerts. So Martin, I saw that show too. Little Village at Massey Hall. Little Village was Ry Cooder, John Hyatt, Nick Lowe, and Jim Keltner. They made one album together, which is kind of a disappointing album, but live, they were incredible. That was a great show. That could make top 5. What a great night that was.
Somebody I left off, but I'm seeing, he's always a top show, is Marty Stewart. I'm seeing him Friday. I'm excited for that.
I'd like to see him.
It'll be my 4th time seeing him in some capacity.
Small venue, 79, The Police, 100 people. Wow. They used to come to Toronto and play the Horseshoe Tavern and El Macombo and stuff. Can you imagine? Dire Straits in 79 would have been killer. The Cure in a basement. Wow. That's crazy. One weird show, David Bowie, where we sat behind the stage to the right and he would walk over and sing to the back for a bit here and there in 1989, I think. Wow, that's pretty cool. Never saw Bowie. Yeah, they were a great live band, Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
Number 3 would be Heaven and Hell, Black Sabbath, 2000 at John Labatt Center in London, Ontario. Sabbath is my favorite band of all time, especially with Ronnie James Dio fronting. Wow. Like Dio better than Ozzy. Def Leppard played in the round, and it was pretty cool back in 19.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Richard Axe, I never saw him. Wish I had included Zeppelin, The Who, Bowie, The Clash, Midnight Oil, and Pretenders. I saw Zeppelin, The Who, and The Pretenders. Squeeze almost upstaged Bowie when they opened for him on the Glass Spider tour. Wow, they must have been pretty freaking good. Best stage presence: Tina Turner, Lena Lovitch, Bowie, Prince, Britt. I don't know who Britt Dan is. Tina Turner would have been, yeah, amazing. Sounds like she hadn't made her daily quota when she met you, Glenn. Who's
State
that?
Trooper. The State Trooper.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Britt Daniels, Spoon. Oh, okay, from Spoon. Matt Schultz, Cades the Elephant, Prince, and Mick. Yeah, Mick Jagger's freaking, like, he's just unbelievable live. James Brown. At different times, Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard in the round, and Lewiston. Wow. That'd be incredible. What else you wish to release a new album next year? Ooh.
Bob Dylan, always.
Yeah, Bob's always top of my list, too.
Paul Simon's probably, I think Paul Simon's got one.
Paul Simon was just in Toronto. I guess they made a documentary about his life. And
documentary.
Toronto promoting it. They're trying to get someone to buy it for distribution, and the Toronto International Film Festival is going on right now. And
yes, there is a documentary about that album. Yep.
Yeah, and he came up and promoted it. I didn't know. That would have been pretty cool. And he talked to the audience and stuff.
Cool.
My first concert was Queen in Kansas. Wow, that's quite a double bill. All the guys from Little Village were also in Heights. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where it all started from, Gary. Yeah. When you are 1960, when you are in 19, yeah, I saw Hendrix in '69. I got another one coming up that I saw in '69. Johnny Winter. I saw a ton of concerts in '69. Oh, when you are 69, yeah. Well, I'm 70, so that's even worse. I'm disappointed you didn't get physical tickets anymore. I know, it drives me nuts.
And you got to pay extra for them.
It's the worst thing, eh? Mm-hmm. Spin Doctors in 74.
Wow. Oh my God! Wow.
So I went to I went down to South Carolina to Carowinds. You know where that is, Sam? Just across the border there, North and South Carolina.
Where is it?
Carowinds.
Yeah, it's right there in Charlotte.
Yeah, they had a festival, their music festival there, the Horde Festival.
Yeah.
Right around that time in '94. And the Spin Doctors, Bela Fleck and the Flecktones, Blues Traveler. I forget how else. We drove like 13 hours to go to the show. It was amazing.
Wow.
Greetings from Montreal's Peter Gabriel gig.
Wow.
Awesome. Oh man. I'd love to see that show. Too expensive. Okay, Jason, number 2.
No, I got to do my 3, and so does Sam.
I haven't done 3 yet.
Oh, you're not organized.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. We got wrapped up in state trooper stories.
You know, I'm rusty. I haven't been around for a while.
Yeah. Well, you've been around a while, but just
Yeah, not doing this.
Yeah.
I don't know if Glenn should be the host anymore, guys.
Glenn who?
Anyway. All right. So my number 3, I talked about this a month ago when I did an episode of the Vinyl Community Podcast, but
okay, your turn, Sam. No, sorry, Rob.
Self-promotion.
It's a significant concert for me. I got to see Sixto Rodriguez.
Mm.
All right.
This was about probably, I'm guessing 2014, maybe. One of my best friends, Brian, and I went to see him at Center in the Square in Kitchener. This was a couple years after the movie came out, the documentary Searching for Sugar Man, which I didn't hear about it when it came out, but my buddy Brian's like, I just watched this documentary. You've got to see it. It's about this guy, huge in South Africa, unknown in the rest of the world. Legend is he killed himself on stage. Well, you got to watch the documentary. So I watched it, and I loved it, and I loved the music. So Brian and I were big Rodriguez fans. And he toured through here. He played Center in the Square in Kitchener, which is a theater. There's probably seats, I don't know, 2,500 people, 3,000 people. I don't know, something like that. So we got tickets, and we went. And at this time, Rodriguez was probably, in his mid-70s. Pretty frail. Wasn't sure what to expect. We get there, and this venue hosts orchestras and stuff, so the stage is massive. We get to our seats, and we had awesome balcony seats right above the stage, like private balcony. And on the stage is a microphone and a stool and a little table, and that's it. There's no band. I'm like, well, this is going to be interesting. So the show starts, and Rodriguez hobbles out on stage, and his daughter's helping him walk because he's losing his eyesight and he's fairly frail. And I thought, how's this 70 some odd year old frail old man going to carry a show by himself? Knocked my friggin' socks off. It was incredible. As soon as he sat down and picked up that guitar, he just, like, the music took control of the guy. It was wonderful. Blew me away. I loved it. After the show was over, I said to Brian, let's go around to the stage door. Maybe we'll get to meet the man. Maybe we get an autograph. So we went around to the stage door. It's 11:30 at night. It's spitting. It's not raining yet, but it's kind of spitting. And we waited out there. It's like 5 other people. And sure enough, he comes out. He's with his daughter, helping him down the stairs. And his entire entourage for the tour was his 2 daughters, his driver, and an SUV. That was it. And they didn't even have a case for his guitar. They just put it in the back seat of the car. So Rodriguez came out. He wasn't signing autographs, which was understandable because his vision was kind of crap. But he said hi to all of us. I met him for maybe 20 seconds. And that was it. But at least I got to see him. At least I got to meet him. Wonderful experience.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
What a show.
For me, number 3, this was a show that I think this was the show that sparked my interest in going to live shows. And on top of that, it was just a killer night. So this was 2014. 2014, I had experienced quite a bit of a lot of health issues. I'll just say that, like really serious health issues. And I had a really tough year. So this would have been April. Actually, I remember it was Palm Sunday, 2014, because I was at my grandma's house with my dad's side of the family. And she lives down in the southern part of Virginia, and we had to drive to Charlottesville for this show, which is heading east at a place called the Jefferson Theater, which is a standing room only venue. And to me, seeing this show was going to be the closest thing at the time to me seeing the Beatles. And that was seeing the Zombies.
Wow.
In 2014. Of course, this is the Zombies. It was Rod Argent and Cullen Blunstone with their touring unit. The bass player being Jim Rodford, who played in the Kinks through the end of their career. And he also played in Argent with Rod, who is his cousin. So he was a seasoned vet, and Colin and Rod were just in fine form. It was this show that I decided I wanted to grow my hair out long. I had a month or so earlier, I had been very, very, very sick, and went to the show with my mom and my sister, my oldest sister. Well, she's the middle of the 3 of us, but she's the oldest of the 2. And I remember not knowing, again, what my health was or anything like that, how to handle it or anything. And we went and we sat in the balcony. We didn't do the standing room, but there was a balcony that you could sit in, still general admission. And to see them come out, they opened with the song "I Love You," one of their bigger hits. And I mean, they did a little mini suite of Odyssey and Oracle. They did Carousel 44. They did I Want Her, She Wants Me, This Will Be Our Year, and Time of the Season, all from Odyssey and Oracle. They also did stuff like Sticks and Stones, the old blues song. They did Roadrunner, which they had covers of. They also did the Argent song, God Gave Rock and Roll to You. And obviously they did She's Not There. They did Tell Her No. I Want You Back Again. There were some nice little stories from Rod Argent. But this show, and it was opened by Pat Sansone of Wilco, was the opening act. And it was just one of those moments that I was like, that is exactly what I wanted it to be. I got to see a British Invasion band. I never thought I would be able to see a British Invasion band. And now I've seen a few of people from that era. But seeing the show, seeing those songs, seeing Rod and Colin in like top form, at that time in my life where I really needed to pick me up, just all of it meshed to make just like a perfect evening. And I'm very happy that we drove from my grandma's Palm Sunday lunch to Charlottesville to see the show. And it was just an awesome, awesome night. So the Zombies are my number 3.
Wow, great memories.
That's great.
Wow.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Okay, now I'm completely lost. Who's going next?
I was the end of the line, so it's back to the top.
Jason's number 2 now.
Jason's going next, number 2.
Okay.
Or number 1. Oh, no, he isn't. Is he doing his number 1 or number 2?
No, he's doing his number
Number
2.
two.
Number
Oh,
2.
that's right. Okay, geez, I'm
Okay.
really having a
This
tough
has
time.
been brought up in the comments, and you guys have
Who are
mentioned
you
it
guys?
already.
What am I doing here?
Yeah, where am I? What time is it? Okay, so I was there. I was there at Arsenault, and I saw these guys.
Oh, you went to Arsenault too?
I was there, and it was a hell of an experience for me. So again, I had my sister and brother-in-law. They were living in the Newmarket area, and he's got like this great connection to tickets, and so we usually can get tickets to whatever. And still required me to get to Toronto, but we made it there, and a whole group of us were at my sister's house. I remember it was a beautiful day, right? And we were just kind of sitting and chill. It was very, very hot. So we're in Newmarket and we're chilling and we're just totally fine. And everyone else is sweating at this concert, watching all these opening acts, which, I regret not seeing them, but we didn't show up until we walked in just as Rush was kind of taking the stage or middle
Where
of
the
their
hell
set.
did you park?
Yeah, so that's the best part of the story. The experience for us was so great because this guy who gets us tickets at the time was a CN police officer. So we get in with a police escort all the way halfway up the massive crowd. Well, actually, no, before that, we parked. He had, because, CN police and the CN tracks were going around there. So they had a little base or a little station or whatever. So he parked his camper. So we were hanging out there, chilling, did the TV going. So we knew what acts were on because we couldn't see it. So we were like, cool drinks and everything else and just hanging out and chilling. And when it finally came time that we were like, let's go into the concert now, we get into the old Crown Victorias and we beeline it halfway down the crowd and, make it pretty much halfway to the stage in that massive venue, right? It was huge. It was gross and everything else.
Yeah.
But I had never seen the Stones before. But I remember getting out of the vehicle. Oh my God, that's Rush on the stage. And I didn't really know much about Rush at the time, right? But because that was, what was the year of that? That was, I have it right here. That was 2000. Yep.
I tell you, one of the most
July
uncomfortable days
30th,
of my life. I
2003.
couldn't stay and watch these bands. It was like I was there. I got to see everything you didn't get to see. You got there when I was leaving. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just going, I can't take another second.
So I saw I missed the Guess Who, which kind of sucks. I saw Rush and AC/DC was awesome. And then, of course, the Stones. But it was gross, man. It was gross. It was a cool story because we had like this really cushy way to, spend time beforehand and to get there and to get in. But as soon as I get out of the Crown Vic, we start going through the crowd. We're like trying to find a place where we could stand to see something. And I'm like, oh, good. The crowd's partying. Looks like there's this really good area right here. It's too good to be true. Sure enough, it was. The crowd parts. And what do I see is a guy on his hands and knees just puking,
Yeah.
It's like 30 degrees. And
It was so hot and people were, it was just brutal. It was so uncomfortable.
Cool though. First time I saw the Stones, I did see them again, but like the Stones they're timeless. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care if people are tired of them or not. Like I watched someone's YouTube videos, like these guys just don't put out a bad record.
Yeah.
And I hope they have great success with the new one.
I was supposed to meet people there. Like I knew, not everybody was all like one group, but I knew one guy was going, another guy was going here. I said, okay, well, we'll talk on our cell phones when we get there. And there were so many people there that the cell phone system was completely jammed up. You couldn't use your phone.
Really?
And,
oh my God.
I had no way of so I'm there all by myself, wandering around in front of all these people, and it's so freaking hot, and you couldn't even, I wasn't prepared at all. I had nothing to drink.
That was you on your hands and knees puking. Oh, right.
No, it would have been from sunstroke, not from alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't take it. I had to leave. It was unbelievable.
A messy experience, but I remember.
I'm glad I was there to see it, what I saw. Yeah. I witnessed what it was like. But it's the bands.
So now it's Glenn.
No,
it's me.
Oh, it's Rob.
Geez, now Sam's getting old before his time too.
Yeah, well, yeah. I hope I die before I get old.
All right, my number 2.
Like that, you might.
I don't want to do that. No.
Can I go now?
Yeah, you can leave anytime.
Jesus Christ! You can go back on vacation at any time you want. You really enjoy. We enjoyed your vacation.
Who's stopping?
Anyway, my number 2. This is an album cover most people may not recognize. Sam knows what it is.
Mm.
This is U2. This is Songs of Innocence from when this come out? 2014. I saw U2 twice. I saw them on the Elevation Tour, which was 2001, I think, at Cops Coliseum in Hamilton, which that was on the arena leg of the tour. Cops Coliseum is a hockey arena. Hosted an OHL team at the time. I don't know. It's I don't know, 15,000 people, maybe. It's not huge. So I got to see them there, and that was incredible. Unfortunately, I saw that with someone in my life that regrettably was in my life, and I wish they hadn't have been. Let's just leave it at that. I was married once when I was younger. Anyway, so I was at that show, and it was awesome, and I had this very poignant memory. I think I talked about it once in a video. It was just like a few weeks after Bono's dad died, and he came out on stage to do the song Kite, and he goes, this song's about letting go, and he goes, I always thought I wrote it about my kids, but I think my dad wrote it about me. And he plays it, and he's bawling his eyes out. I just lost my grandfather like a week before. So Bono's bawling his eyes out. I'm bawling my eyes out. And I will always remember that it's just such a poignant moment because, just the power of music. Fast forward to 2014. My best friend Blake and I, he's a huge U2 fan, as am I, but he's bigger than I am. He took me to see this show at Air Canada Centre in Toronto. We had amazing seats. We were 3 rows off the floor, just near the little satellite stage that they would come out and do their acoustic set on. And I loved it because obviously I'm a huge U2 fan. It was nice to be that close. And what I loved about that experience is it's the only concert Blake and I have gone to together. And just to see U2 with someone that's as passionate about the band as I am, it was one I'll never forget. So U2.
I wish I've
Very
seen
cool.
that, man. Good
They're
for
on
you,
my
Russ.
list. And they start their Vegas residency this week, I think.
Yeah, I did think so. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Now
my
it's me.
number
Is it
two.
Glenn?
Hmm?
Is it you or me? Yeah, it's you.
I think it's me.
No,
You go last because you fell asleep.
I did.
Remember? No, not fell asleep, but you
I
froze.
slept. I froze. I logged off.
July 18th, 1969. Outdoor concert, Varsity Stadium in Toronto, which is the football stadium of the University of Toronto. A lot of legendary shows there. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young and the band played there. John Lennon and the Plastic Ono band played there. But I saw Blind Faith.
Oh my God.
With opening act Rory Gallagher and Taste.
Oh.
And Delaney and Bonnie and Friends.
That's a great album.
Just the most incredible show. Again, had great seats. I think we were like within the first 15 rows of the stage. Beautiful summer night. Just the greatest music. They did the whole Blind Faith album in its entirety, and Delaney and Bonnie just blew everybody away. I mean, I wish I would have known some of those people at the time who were in that band at the time, like Leon Russell. And I think Dave Mason was there. There's a ton of people in that band. Jim Gordon.
Wow.
I can't even think of all the people that. Bobby Whitlock. Just incredible. So, yeah, that was just an amazing night of music. Just amazing. And here, I have a picture of it. I don't have the... that is, I don't know if I can hold it up. There's the poster
Oh,
from the
cool.
show. So, very cool. Before we go any further, I got to ask you guys about something. I'm going to have a chance to own a bit of history, and I'm just wondering. I know Rob won't care about this.
Do it.
Maybe he will.
Spend it.
I want to know what you guys would pay for this because I think I'm willing to go whole hog on it.
I'm not selling you my underwear.
Yesterday that I can get my hands on an original ticket stub from Bob Dylan and the band, 1965 at Massey Hall.
Hold on a minute. Hold on. Before either of you guys answer, why would you assume I wouldn't care about that?
Well,
You just said
the Dylan,
Bob
no, the
Dylan.
Dylan thing.
You
I thought
said
once
Bob
they said
Dylan
the band, I
and-
went, okay, no, you probably would.
and the band.
Yeah,
I would buy it in a heartbeat.
yeah. So I'm going to have first dibs on it.
Oh,
How much are they asking?
I think it's going to be around $300.
Do it.
oh yeah, for
I'm
sure.
definitely going to do it.
Do it.
For sure.
Yeah. Can you
Do
imagine?
it, and then
I
just send
saw
it.
it yesterday. I saw the picture of it. The guy who went to the show went to see Dylan, and then I think a few nights later was Peter, Paul, and Mary, and I forget who the third one was. He saw 3 really cool shows, and yeah. So
Oh my god.
anyway, I'm just
$300.
waiting
Yeah.
for my buddy to make the deal on all the ticket stubs, and then he's giving me first shot at the Dylan band one. So
Oh, do it.
How much would you pay in today's dollars back then to go see that show?
oh, can you imagine? Like if you like,
I'd drop $1,000 to see
yeah,
that
me
show.
too. Yeah, yeah. Knowing now that, like, that
Yeah,
was the problem.
no.
People always say, "Well, what was it like seeing Hendrix?" And what was it like seeing this? And even people who saw the Beatles and stuff like that. You were living in the moment. You didn't realize you were living in history.
No.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Fair.
If you would have known, if you could have moved up 50 years and went, "Oh my God, this is like I'm living an iconic moment here," you would have thought about it differently at the time. But it wasn't, like, who
Well,
knows
like
when you see
me.
Hendrix in 1969 and he's going to be dead the next year. You just figure you're going to go see him again,
Yeah.
a year later. You don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that was again like that was like me. I saw John Prine, like one of his last 5 shows, and
Yeah.
I didn't know that he was going to be dead. I didn't know COVID
Yeah, you don't realize how
was gonna
special it
exist.
is until after, unfortunately.
No, COVID didn't exist. It was just you didn't think about it.
Yeah.
It's wild.
But, yeah, so I'm really excited about this ticket stub. I'm like, I couldn't believe it when I
That's
saw it.
cool.
Wow.
Do it.
And then this another guy, a woman approached him with all these concert posters that her husband owned. And she walked in with them. And one of them was Led Zeppelin in 1969 or 70 in Vancouver, an original poster.
Wow.
It sells for $20,000 US.
Whew. Oh my god.
And my buddy's in the process of getting somebody to restore it because there's a little bit of a rip in it. But he's getting all these posters for like nothing. The woman said, "You can have them." Her husband's like, "See, he's filthy rich. He won't even miss it." Frank Zappa poster from 1969. There was all kinds of these posters that are worth just a ton of money. Like I was just freaking out yesterday when I've seen all this stuff. Wow. But I'll let you know how that Dylan ticket goes. Sam, I think you're up.
Yeah. This is a
Number
show
2.
again, kind of piggybacking off the zombies. So again, the year previously, I'd seen the zombies, and I was like, I'm never going to see, British Invasion, any of that stuff ever. Like, this is my one shot. And then, fast forward to the June, I think, of 2015, and I get to see this tour with Paul McCartney in Charlottesville at the John Paul Jones Arena at University of Virginia. Both of my sisters went, and then we drove with my cousin and my aunt, who were they were in the back of the venue. We were kind of off to the side, and it's funny. I tell this story, and that's actually not the show I'm going to talk about. But 2015 is when I first see him. The show that we saw in Charlottesville was, I paid like $90, and I was on the side of the stage looking right down at McCartney. I mean, I was fairly close to the stage, and so but the show I'm going to talk about is the show that Cardboard Head Guy talked about from last year at Wake Forest in North Carolina in 2022. At the football stadium, me and my sister went, and I paid like $115 to be in the very back of the football stadium outside. But, again, 7 years between shows, you always worry because McCartney at that point was just a month shy of being 80. What's the show going to be like? It was just fantastic. I've talked about it before 100 times on this stream. Seeing McCartney play with John Lennon with that huge screen doing "I've Got a Feeling," that to me probably that moment is the greatest concert moment I've ever had.
Cool.
And I remember tearing up because I'm like, because that was the encore, that was the first encore, and he was talking about like Peter Jackson did this technology, blah blah blah, that we could isolate the rooftop music and just get John's voice, and I can sing with it. So you have 20 what year is that? Almost 29-year-old. No, 29-year-old John Lennon singing with 79-year-old Paul McCartney. It was just unbelievable. And he played songs on that tour that I didn't get to see in Charlottesville. Like he did Let 'Em In. He did what else did he do? He did In Spite of All the Danger, the Quarrymen, which he didn't do the first time I saw him. And then, just the basic songs. I mean, even like I've said, like for some reason that version of Band on the Run will forever stick with me because I was emotional during it. It was all good. I mean, he did everything. He opened with Can't Buy Me Love. Just an unbelievable night. He did Dance Tonight, which I love from memory, almost full. And again, just that moment of him singing with John Lennon, and I filmed it, and I remember, like, if you see the clip that I filmed when when McCartney joins in on the second chorus with John Lennon, you hear me kind of go, "Oh my goodness!" It was just like this, this is the closest thing I will ever see to being the Beatles, ever. I know Ringo comes out and plays, but to hear the two main singers harmonize together in a huge football stadium, that there was nothing like it. And I will forever remember that moment as being, again, I don't see how anything can ever top that moment. Like there is just nothing, I don't think. And it was just a fantastic, fantastic time. So I've seen McCartney twice, but that second time held that extra special spark, even though the first time was unbelievable. Smaller venue. This second time was just like, yeah, I'm glad that we drove the 2.5 hours to get here and paid the extra money because that I'll remember that forever. I don't care about the ticket price.
Yeah, that's great. What a memory.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Something about seeing McCartney. I'm the same way. When I saw him a couple of times in both, it's just, it's unbelievable how emotional it is.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very cool. Okay, let me catch up with some people here.
You want to go ahead and run through the final because we're at an hour 50.
Well, we're doing the last.
We have one more, right?
We got one more each. Greetings from. Oh, we already did that. Last Spindle Doctors album was very bluesy. I only thought they only made one album. I don't know if they made more than that. Roger Waters live. I've heard Roger Waters puts on a great live show. Guess Who reunion '83 would be cool.
I saw the Guess Who reunion in '98. 2000.
You ever been to a concert where the opening act was better than the headliner? Oh,
Yes.
I've seen some great opening acts, but I don't know if I ever went, wow, the opening act was better.
Jackson Brown outdid James Taylor in 2021.
Yeah, but that's kind of a co-headliner thing almost.
Well, Jackson Brown only played it for like just under an hour, and Taylor played for almost 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was listed as James Taylor with Jackson Brown.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not BB King live to sing. Oh, man, I would have wished I would have seen BB King. I had a chance to see him at Royal Albert Hall in London. I didn't go. That's the one concert I'm kicking my ass. Kiss's first concert in North America '74 here in Edmonton. Wow. Music Talk with John. I got to meet BB King one time. He played at a casino. Such a nice man. Wow. Saw Rodriguez in Tampa, Florida. Very cool show. Saw him the year after the movie. Hope Rodriguez finally made all that bank later on.
Yeah, apparently.
Wonder if some bands think about top 5 shows they have played. I'm sure they do.
I'm sure
Probably can't remember.
I'm sure when you come off stage, if you played a great show or not. David Byrne's American Utopia concert was an event. I saw the film of that, and it was awesome. I bet you that would have been a great live show. Sam, do you have the new album from the Zombies?
Yep, I do. Different Game is what it's called.
Which artist bands have you seen the most amount of times? I love Los Lobos. I've seen them.
I have a bunch tied. Bob Dylan, the Avett Brothers, the Wood Brothers. I've seen all them 4. Marty Stewart.
Me would be Springsteen, I think around 10 times. Stones, probably a half a dozen times.
Me is Blue Rodeo 47 times.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Well, mine would probably be Bela Fleck. I've probably seen him 25 times. I got to see Wilco in '95. Jayhawks opened for them.
Bob would have been playing for them in '95.
My buddy says Herman's is still the best time he's had at a show all time. Saw them in the '80s. And yeah, Peter Noon. I bet you that would be a fun show.
I've heard he's very fun.
A great show that I saw at Spectrum Philly back in '74. Spooky Tooth. Oh, look at that! What a lineup! Spooky Tooth was a great band. Frampton's Camel, Peter Frampton before 74. I thought Frampton's Camel was. Well, I guess it was after he left Humble Pie. Mahavishnu Orchestra. Wow, that's very cool. I saw Rush when they had a weird chicken rotisserie machines glowing bright red. First John Mayall on 69. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I saw that comment.
Killing
That's
me.
crazy.
So, who was the guitar? Was Mick Taylor playing with them then? Was Mick Taylor the guitarist back then, John? U2? John Mayall, 69. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've seen the Stones, Steel Wolves tour, Voodoo Lounge tour, and Bible on tour. Not sure what this tour will be like without Charlie.
I think it'll still be awesome.
They just did the last tour without Charlie.
Yeah, it was good.
Right,
Yeah. Just some clips.
2 shows I saw for free in Millennium Park here in Chicago included Willie Colin and Farquhar Tour. That would have been good. Both shows were absolutely amazing, and they were free. I was at, Richard, I was in Chicago for a Taste of Chicago, and they had all kinds of, I don't know how long ago this. Glenn Campbell was still alive. He was playing on there was like a country stage and a rock stage, and they had about 5 different stages set up down there on the lakefront. And I saw Glenn Campbell, and he was pretty good. And I forget who else I saw. I saw Noam Pakilny from the Punch Brothers. That's the first time I ever saw him play live. Artists I want to see before they retire. Pretenders, Bruce Cockburn, U2, Mickey Dolenz, Clapton. I've seen Pretenders, I've seen Bruce Cockburn, I saw the Monkees, and I've seen Clapton with Cream, Blind Faith, and by himself a few times. Wow, very cool. Beach Boys with Brian Wilson.
Wow.
79 and 80. Mick Taylor with John Mayall in 1987. Wow, I didn't know he came back and played with them. Pretenders open for Guns N' Roses this year at Wrigley Field. I saw the Pretenders in 1986 in Edmonton. Iggy Pop was the opening act. Too much for Guns N' Roses. Wow, Glenn, I think you win the prize. LOL. You guys realize most musicians might not have a memory of 5 gigs they played, except Keith Richards, of course. Wow, Taste and Blind Faith. I missed the Hyde Park Blind Faith. I always regretted that. Saw Gallagher often in my hometown. Yeah, I saw Rory after he left Taste too. Oh my. Paid $10 to see the Stones, and that was expensive in 78. Yeah, it's amazing, eh? Concert tickets. I wish I'd seen Tom Petty. Me too.
Me too.
Me too.
Yeah.
And Sam.
See, that's why you always think these people are going to be around. That's like when you say, so even the Beatles, like I remember in 66 tickets being readily available, but they played it here in 64. They played in 65. They played in 66. Why, when you were 13 years old, did you not think they would be back in 67? It was like, you didn't know that they were thinking about retiring. And, that wasn't like a known fact when they were on that tour. I got to see Prine with Mary Chapin Carpenter back in 95. Prine's another one I've seen. I don't even know how many times I saw John Prine, like countless times. Always a great night. Saw Petty twice. Wow.
In Tampa. Huh.
Panel question: who is the best storyteller you've seen in concert?
John Prine.
Man,
I don't know. That's a good one. I do appreciate that element of a concert.
Me too. I'm trying to think. I've seen
It always gets on my nerves when a band just goes from song to song to song to tell us a little something in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they don't, to me, it always feels like they're going through the motions.
Yeah, that's more like usually the storyteller thing's not usually in the rock band vein. It's usually like a guy solo artist with a guitar or something with the stories, right?
Yeah, I saw a fingerstyle guitarist there, Don Ross. I think he's from Nova Scotia.
Don Ross is fantastic. I've seen him a couple times too.
Yeah, I saw him live at this perfect little venue in Halifax, and great storyteller because they like those fingerstyle guys. They'll break a nail, or they'll have fake nails, and they have to they glue their nails back on. So he's got to be really good at engaging with the crowd while he's like fixing either the guitar or his nails or whatever. It's like, it really speaks to your artistry if you can connect with the audience on that level as well, right?
Yeah.
Alan Doyle for me from Great Big Sea, great storyteller.
Oh, yeah.
Alan Doyle.
Oh,
I've
that
seen
would've
him a
been good.
dozen times, probably.
The guy who
Really?
owns Neptune Records in.
I met him a few times too. My friend plays in his band.
Wow.
Sam's falling asleep over there
I'm
again.
getting close.
Oh, Leo,
You had a
Cocky.
nap. What's the problem?
Leo Cocky. Yeah, Arlo Guthrie. Yeah, I saw Arlo. What do you see about seeing Zone or Steps in the early 70s? The way some kids look back at seeing BTS. Yeah, exactly.
That makes me a kid. I've seen
Fleetwood
Taylor.
Mac poster from '67. Oh my God!
Oh,
What's that
wow.
poster worth?
Oh,
When I saw Paul last year, was the guy who stood the whole show in a row in front of me, not my way, but my dad's way. We always used to shout out to guys, "Hey, buddy, you paid for your seat. Use it." I saw Chaka Khan. I saw Chaka Khan open for the Stones in '75, I think. No, Taylor, he had left. Almond Bennett and another guy with Mayo. John Mark also with Mayo. The Cars and Doobie Brothers in Central Park. That would have been cool. Bruce is the best storyteller. Yeah, he was a good storyteller. Go to Roger Waters if you want storytelling.
I'll never go to Roger Waters' show.
Colin Hayes is genius with storytelling. Colin Hayes, he's from Mimmoth. Isn't he the
Men at Work?
guy? Men at Work?
Men at
Yeah,
Work.
yeah,
I saw him when he played in the All-Star band with Ringo.
yeah. He stole the show.
You could probably do an entire live stream on good concert storytellers.
yeah, you're right,
Best
John.
storyteller, Guthrie and Seeger. Yeah, Guthrie was a good storyteller. Paul Thorne, Steve Earle, another one great storyteller.
Paul Thorne was just here with the Mavericks a couple days ago.
Wow. Okay, number one.
This is not the album that he toured on, but I've already mentioned Pearl Jam, but this is, I saw Eddie Vedder when he did his solo tour supporting the soundtrack to Into the Wild. So that was his first venture away from Pearl Jam. And I was there, and I think I don't have the stub with me, but I looked it up. It's April 2nd, and it was the first concert of the tour. So small venue in Vancouver, well, small, like, maybe 1,000 people or whatever, and fourth row. So I was like totally stoked. I had no idea until I got to the ticket booth where my seats were. I was like, oh my God, does this really mean fourth row? And I went all the way down, and incredible. So, like, talk about seeing your icon, and unlike the Dylan show where Dylan didn't really put on the best performance, this was incredible. And it was his first show of the tour, so he was kind of like getting his legs underneath him. First time being away from the band, doing a full tour. So a couple songs.
Did he have a small band with him, backup musicians, or did he just do his own thing?
Just his own thing. It was awesome. And I forget who opened for him. Is the son of who's that? Is it an Australian rocker, Neil Finn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's got a son, and he was a really incredible opener too. Like, he came out and joined Eddie towards the end with a song. But anyway, best concert experience of my life. Like, seeing my idol on the stage, just him and guitars, and just nailed it, killed it. Fourth row, best experience ever. Never forget.
To tell you the truth, I'm not a huge Pearl Jam fan, but I love Eddie Vedder doing that stuff just on his own.
Yeah, it's impressive. He's like a super intelligent, smart guy, and I can't say enough good things about him.
Wow, that's great. Great.
It was my favorite concert.
Where was that?
I forget the name of the venue, but it was in Vancouver.
Oh, cool.
It was like one of the more operatic kind of venues, not like the Commodore or anything like that. A little more high end, but yeah.
Rob, number one.
This artist has been mentioned. It's not Bob Dylan. Paul McCartney.
Oh, yeah.
This was the back in the U.S. tour, except it was in Canada in 2001, 2002, something like that. The one and only time I've seen Paul, and I didn't care what it was going to cost. I think I paid $200 a seat to be they weren't floor seats, but it was at the Air Canada Center, so hockey arena. So we were literally the first row off the floor. Great seats. Paul put on a hell of a show. It was, I describe this as, it was as close to as a religious experience as I'll ever get. I am not a religious person, but seeing this, I think I understand what that means. And I know that may sound dramatic, but the Beatles are such a huge part of my life and mean so much to me that to see Paul was amazing. He opened with Hello Goodbye, then he did Jet. The third song was All My Loving, and it was at that moment that, like, his band, which is still the same band he tours with today, they're so good. I just closed my eyes and it sounded note for note like the Beatles.
I know, they're an incredible band. They are.
It was a moment that is forever frozen in time for me, that because I'll never get to see I've seen Ringo twice, but to Sam's point, this Ringo's Ringo, but
yeah,
Paul and John were
the greatest,
not to detract from George or Ringo, but these
could
are the
arguably
geniuses.
be the greatest composer or songwriter in history.
Correct. I'm never going to see John, who was my favorite Beatle, because he died when I was 2. But he was just that moment as I had my eyes closed, and it was like I could imagine what it would have been like to see the Beatles in 64 or 65. That's incredible. I'm at a loss for words how much of an amazing experience that was. So,
wow, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I echo your sentiments on seeing McCartney for sure. I'm up for my one. Well, I always say this is my favorite concert of all time. I mean, I was such a huge Stones fan, and the first time they didn't play in Toronto, I think 65 or 66, and then they didn't come here. They didn't come here in 69 when they toured the U.S. with the Get Your Yeah Yeahs Out and Altamont and all that stuff. 72 when Exile on Main Street came out, and when the tickets went on sale, we lined up. We found out you had to line up at Maple Leaf Gardens for the box office open at 10 o'clock, whatever morning it was. And we found out people were lining up the day before. So my cousin and I went down there, I think it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the day before the tickets went on sale. And there were already probably 100 or 200 people there already. And by the time the night was over, there was probably 2,000 people on a street in Toronto. They closed the street down. We had a street party that I've never experienced before in my life. It was freaking awesome. People just partied all night long.
Oh my God.
And it was amazing. Lining up for the tickets was more fun than the show, I think. And anyway, so the show was great. Stevie Wonder was the opening act. I mean, incredible to see him. And then the Stones were I thought they were just brilliant. They were just so rough and raw, and just at that time, they were I think, on top of the world. Mick Taylor was in the band, and I just love that whole era of the Stones with Exile and all that. So that's always going to be my number one concert.
That's sweet. All right, number one.
I bet I know what Sam's picking.
I've mentioned this as my favorite before, and I was thinking about when I was doing my list if it really still is my favorite, and it is. And part of it too was the buildup of going to the show. So my mom is a big fan of this artist, and it was 2018, and it was her birthday, and I was like, I want to get my mom tickets to the show, which was in Greensboro, North Carolina, which is about 2 hours south of me. And I was like, I've got to figure out a way to make this interesting for her to know what I'm getting her. So I was actually doing an internship in Richmond, Virginia, and staying in Williamsburg, Virginia. So she actually came with my youngest sister to stay for a few days. And I had my guitar with me, and I was like, I was giving her birthday present early because I wasn't going to see her. And so I said, I've got your birthday present, but it requires some participation. So I pulled out my guitar, and my mom is a fan of music, but she's not very good with connecting songs to the artist. But once she knows, she's like, oh, of course that's who it is. So I start playing what I know are deeper cuts of this artist so that she can be like, I don't know what you're playing. So I started playing one song. I was like, you know what that is? And she goes, it sounds familiar, but I don't know what it is. And said, let me play this. So I played another song. And she goes, that sounds familiar too, but what is that? And I said, well, let me try this. And then I start playing Me and Julio Down by the Schoolyard, and she knows who that song is.
Oh, man.
This was for the Homeward Bound tour, Paul Simon. Because she loves Graceland. It is mountaintop for her. It was a grail for her to find the DVD of Graceland. He released a mega deluxe set of Graceland.
Yeah.
And the only way that you could get the DVD was by buying that. So I and my sisters chipped in. That was her Mother's Day gift 15 years ago. Here it is. Literally just for the DVD. but she had like all this other cool stuff. Like there were like, like the booklets with like his journals and that sort of thing, like you get in a box set. So the concert was June 19th, 2018, which is my youngest sister's birthday. She was not happy that we were going to miss her birthday, but we had Paul Simon, and because she was turning 17 that day. And we went, and he comes out again. He was announcing it was like the farewell tour, even though he wasn't going to give up playing. It was the last tour. So he comes out and starts with America by Simon and Garfunkel. And then, he goes into like all the songs. I think the second song might have been Boy in the Bubble from Graceland. And because my mom said if she hears anything from Graceland, she's going to freak out. And of course, I heard that accordion starts up like dun, 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 dun. And the drum, like his band is top notch too. I mean, they're just top notch. He did some deeper cuts. He did Renee and Georgette Magritte with Their Dog After the War, which was a highlight. But like the big, he did Graceland. He did, Late in the Evening, Kodachrome. He kicked in on Diamonds in the Soles of Her Shoes, started it very, very slow, and then like jumped into it like normal. And then like they went straight into You Can Call Me Al, like instantly to end the set. And then he came back out and did like a couple of songs with the band. And then he finished up with Homeward Bound acoustic with like clips of him with like Simon and Garfunkel all through his career.
Oh, wow.
He did that. He did American Tune. And then he closed, of course, with Sound of Silence just by himself. And like, it was just one spotlight. The stage was black, and we were far away, but he was in great voice. And it was just one of those moments where I was like, man, we just heard Paul Simon.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
2 hours. Because he's like McCartney. He's had like 3 or 4 different careers. Because
I so regret not seeing Paul Simon.
So
my number one regret, probably.
My mom and I were just like infatuated with it the whole time. Like every time like he would do a show, like she would like elbow me, like he's doing that song, and I was like, I know. It was just so good. So Paul Simon, number one for me. Awesome. It's crazy that 5 years ago now.
Damn.
Sam, I thought for sure you were going to pick this.
Oh no, that was a I keep a record of all the concerts I've seen, and I was looking at all of them, and there were so many. I saw Crosby, Stills, and Nash. I saw Brian Wilson doing Pet Sounds. Tons of other artists, and I'm just like,
it's hard to do a top 5, but you leave out too many.
Those are the 5 that I'm just like, I will forever remember those specific moments from each one. That I'm just, I'm happy that I have those 5, and if I never saw another one, I would hate it. But those are some great memories for me. So.
Let's see what the Peanut Gallery's up to here. I got to see Linda McCartney play with Paul in '93. That was cool. Yeah, like who knew what would happen to Linda, right? I did see Zappa, but only once in the original Mothers in 1968 at Convocation Hall, which is a part of the University of Toronto. It's a pretty small venue, maybe 1,500 people or something like that. That was pretty weird. Hi, Richard. The good old days of lining up and camping overnight. Great parties. Oh, my God. Weirdest concert location. Bad Company and Winger at the German Pavilion in Busch Gardens, Tampa.
I saw Grand Funk without Mark Farner at Busch Gardens in Williamsburg.
I could top that. I saw Blue Rodeo at the Hockey Hall of Fame. Not really a concert venue.
I saw Gavin DeGraw on top of a rooftop bar in Nashville and didn't even know I was going to see him. He just showed up and played.
Glenn Stevie with the Stone 72, mouth-watering, yes. Glenn wins again. Stevie Wonder in his prime, opening for the XL Era Stones. Wow. Yeah. Anyone see Sloan live? No.
I'd love to.
No damn, but my home province, actually one of those guys went to my high school. Huh. Which band are you referring to, Jason?
Sloan.
The Sloan. Okay. Yeah.
Paul Simon's my second best concert. Oh, I would have. Man, Marshall's on too.
Nah.
Damn. Same way I saw an Elvis Presley concert in the 70s. No.
I wish. I wasn't born yet, but I would have loved to have seen an Elvis concert.
Is Billy Joel your number one concert? Oh, John. I saw Crosby, Stills, Nash in 2003 with Music Talk with John.
Did he open? He opened with a selfie.
I didn't know. So it was Crosby, Stills, Crosby, Stills, Nash, and John.
Yeah, right.
I saw Lake Eola in Orlando. Wow. They were going the Canadian Connection. Lake Eola. That's awesome. Has anyone ever said, oh, we already did that. Saw the Graceland tour in '87.
Wow.
Oh my God!
With all those musicians.
Anyone seen Steely Dan?
Steely Dan.
No, I never saw them. Glenn, you see Sly? I had tickets to see Sly and the Family Stone at Maple Leaf Gardens. The opening act was Grand Funk in 1969. Grand Funk was an unknown band. They just released that Red album. Just before the show starts, the MC comes out and says, Sly and the Family Stone pulled the no-show, and they got Delaney and Bonnie and Friends to fill in as the headliner, but Grand Funk opened, and they were freaking incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing.
Shit.
Pink Floyd in the 70s, Zeppelin, Zappa, the Cramps. Yeah, that's great. I didn't see Pink Floyd until the 80s after Roger left. Can you kazoo with Crosby, Stills, Nash needed a kazoo in the band. I always thought that when I listened to Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, that song needs a kazoo.
It does.
Yeah. Wow, that was fun, guys. We were
15
minutes overtime.
Well, if Sam hadn't been a half hour late,
Well, that's true. It's all your fault. Yeah.
It is.
Now you can go to bed, Sam. You look tired.
I'm very tired. Like I said, today was crap all the way around. But so this was a nice little closure to it.
Phone in sick tomorrow.
Yeah, well, yeah, I should. I'm here anyway, so I don't have to drive. So there's that.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's the problem with having a job where you can work from home. Your phone in sick, you're still working.
Yeah, I got but I started my day with my passenger side window not going all the way up, so I had to stop on the road and like manually pull it up out of my car, and then I got hit with credit card fraud, so I lost my card. And
Oh no!
it was like combined probably 2 hours on the phone with different people, and then work itself is just pain stuff.
So anybody got any cool videos coming up they want to promote or anything before we get going? I saw Jason just posted his top 10 female artists, which was cool to see.
Yeah, it was a Steve Westman idea there. He texted me and said, "Hey, do this." I'm like, okay. I actually had some time yesterday, so I threw it together pretty quick. But
very cool. And Rob, you're coming up with one on.
I'm actually, for once, I'm backlogged with ideas. So I'm doing the one about my dad. That's probably going to be the next one.
Oh, that'll be good.
I'm going to do I'm going to do my female singers. I'm going to do the 10 songs that I hate.
I can't do that. I don't really like slamming songs.
Yeah, it's all in good fun. And yeah, I got a few other things a little further down the pipeline. So, but the one about my dad, which is that's pretty special one for me. That's coming out later this week. So
if
I'm
I
not
did
quite
one
finished
about my
yet.
dad, I'd have to show Johnny Mathis albums. I can't do it. Sorry, Dad.
Jeff Witcher just did an amazing video of like basically slamming a Monkees album.
Dumpster Dives.
Dumpster Dives. It was hilarious.
Yeah. He's so funny.
He is, yeah.
Sam, you got anything coming up?
I don't know if I want to because I'm still not at 900 subs. I got down to 896. I got up to 896 and I dropped to 892 again.
Don't you hate when that happens?
No, it's been happening.
It's worse when you actually get to 900 and then you're all excited, and the next day you go, you're at 899 again.
No, I'm just a salty old man. Like I said, I'm gonna see Marty Stewart Friday, so that generally entails a concert review.
So
that'll probably be Saturday. And yeah, that's the only one that I have planned right now because I've done a couple recently, and usually take a few days between. So Marty Stewart will be next. I'm just really trying to get to that. Oh, I've got to do Steve's contest before Saturday because I'm listening to Zeppelin right now, so that might be the next one.
Oh, is that a contest?
Yeah.
Oh, the Zeppelin thing. Yeah, it ends Saturday.
Can I do that? I think
you did.
I think you did. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't keep up with Steve.
So because I never listened to Into the Outdoor until yesterday in my life. So,
really?
Yeah. So
wow.
Interesting. I've got to film that tomorrow or Friday.
I did a whack-a-mole this morning like Mazzy did, and it didn't go well at start. I just closed my eyes and pulled like 10 or 12 CDs.
I saw it.
Did you see it? In the first three, I'm going, I don't have a clue. I can't say anything about these records. I don't even know what they are. REM Green, is that any good?
God.
Oh, man. Good show as always. Go to bed, Sam.
I need to go to bed. Yeah, it's been.
Is John going to do a live chat now that we're done? He usually jumps on after and gets all the stragglers. John, are you going on?
He's our after show.
Yeah.
He's
I
getting
saw
on the
Big Twig
lawnmower
Fat
there.
Mother premiere in Hyde Park. Wow. A bit bored with the classical dominance. But that's still pretty cool to see them back then. The magic is in the shorts, Sam. Just ask Glenn. Yes.
No, it's not.
I'm wearing shorts, but I'm not making them. That whack-a-mole process.
Oh, sure. Skip my comment in support of shorts.
That's what I was thinking. That whack-a-mole process might help you find CDs you can sell because you don't know you have them anyway. Anyway, Jason, thanks so much. Glad you're on board with us.
Thank you.
Rob, thanks. Let's try and figure out the 24th. And Sam, as always. And thank you, everyone who contributed and watched. And we shall see you next Wednesday. And please subscribe to all these great channels. See you, boys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks so much. Bye.